children cannot be accounted for. They cannot be accounted for. And who vexed that I sing in Kamala praises? That's all your business. Because when people do good, you have to sing their praises. Not so, Andy? You have to sing
Absolutely
their praises.
correct.
You have, yes, you have to acknowledge when people doing good. And who vexed that I defended Kamala? I don't care. It's not taking money out of my pocket. All you can say and do what all you want. I am going to continue to come here and defend her. And what, as long as she's doing it, I am going to continue to defend her. And I benefited, and the whole country benefited from all the good works that Kamala did. And who want to play ostrich and hide their heads? Who want to be deceitful and say, no, that is all your business? Because we saw from the babies to the senior citizens, right, benefited, right? So they can say what all they want. I am going to continue standing up and defending Kamala. And I must say, before I leave, I am pleased, but partly so, with what British Annie said, George said, although I find she should have sent him. But then again, she still had to give him a little leeway, right? Because he was acting prime minister. He's one of we. But she should have sent him to the Privileges Committee. Andy, thanks so much and have a good one. Take care.
Thank you very much. Morning caller. Where are you calling from and what's your contribution on the Gong Report this morning? Go ahead, caller. Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Angela Singh, good morning to you. Nicky Nick. Where the hell? I see her. I think I see her. I swear I tell you morning but there's on YouTube. I ain't too sure, no? Ann Brown, good morning to you. While the lines are open, you all have the numbers. The voicemails are open. Anthony say MP Kamala is a hero. Morning caller, we're calling from. What's your contribution on the Grung report this morning?
Hi, good morning, and Andy and all gentlemen. I don't know if the rest are there.
Yeah.
I didn't get up too long, but I heard Santa Cruz say, something. I know that is a strong lady there who will stand up and fight for what is right. But I want to say this morning, Andy. I want to tell Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz calls every morning, 2-3 times on this program, right? The thing is this. She doesn't have to do that. She could sit down in a corner and keep quiet like a lot of these lazy, deceitful people in this country. But she chose to stand up and fight for the UNC, and she chose to defend Kamala Persad-Bissessar. And it is not easy in this world today to find people who are loyal, people who are brave and strong enough to stand up and fight for what is right. No matter how they criticize you, no matter what, because the thing is this, as long as you are not on the same page with them, they always want to put you down. So I want to tell Santa Cruz, you are a strong woman, you stand up for the truth, you continue fighting. Let them say what they want, when they want, how they want, but the fact of the matter is, they cannot sew up your mouth and prevent you from talking. We are UNC and proud. Kamala Persad-Bissessar she did well and she's always doing good. And she is the one that they criticize, the media, everybody. They criticize non-stop. You understand? And they uphold the evil, disrespectful PNM and Rowley. You understand? But we're not going to do it. Regardless of what I realized yesterday, they didn't send this situation with Stuart Young to the Privileges Committee. But we're going to keep on fighting. The people in UNC must be like Santa Cruz. You must be determined. You must fight. You must talk, and you must know that there are people out there who don't want to hear us talk. We'll be criticized and we'll be condemned, but don't matter about that. We have to stand up for the truth. Bad things continue to happen when good people do nothing. And sometimes it might be disheartening, but let me tell all you this, keep on talking, keep on fighting, keep on pushing, stand all your ground, push back, because you see PNM, the end is near. And they don't hate Kamala Prasad Bisesas. They think, I am getting to realize now, they are afraid. They are afraid of Kamala Prasad Bisesas and the UNC, because they know, if they just figure, if they don't continue, if they don't pressure them, they're going to rise too high. But let me tell you now, we out here, who want betterment, we are the wind beneath Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesas and the UNC win. And regardless of whatever all you say, we are UNC and proud, and we're going to do everything in our power with God's help to make sure we get rid of the PNM. We're not sitting down. We're not hushing up. We're not going to go in no corner and panic and put the finger on the lips. We recognize what we are up against here. You hear? Because they have the police, the judiciary, the people, all the people in authority in all the different government offices and whatever. The EBC, we realize all your fighting to keep the PNM there. And the people in UNC must get serious, and we must fight, we must push. The more they tell we to sit down, we have to stand up. The more they tell we to keep quiet, we have to talk. The more they feel they're pushing with us, we have to show them that we're standing up. You understand? So this is the whole thing. People, all the callers who call here every morning, you take all your time, or you could have gone and listen to all them other station are talking to police. Yes, and but they decide to call, and they take it for granted. You hear in Miss Woodbrook every morning. You hear in Santa Cruz every morning. They say, no, don't about that. We are real. We are genuine. We are the people who, we ain't standing up on no white line in the road. There's plenty of them on the white line. One half of the road paint red, one half of the road paint yellow, and they're on the white line. And when it suits them, and it sounds good enough, and it's convenient for them, they jump on the yellow side. And when they think now, they jump on the red side. You see Santa Cruz and Woodbrook? We on the yellow side of the road, you understand? And who vex the vex? In there, you have to, even Andy, you and I am listening to Andy, these guys, Andy for Gandhi. Andy is a person that you can trust. You see that word, trust, and people that you could turn your back on them, you could do whatever, you can trust them. It is not easy to find. It is not easy to find people who are genuine. You hear, because the majority of people, they are deceitful. Yeah, they are traitors, mocking pretenders. They are opportunists. They don't care about no party. They don't care about no country. They care about themselves. So the ones like myself and Santa Cruz and the other people, Malcolm X and Barapo and all who these people they are real. They are supporting UNC. They're not waiting on the white line to jump from side to side. These are the people that you have to appreciate, and everybody has to get together and fight, because there are plenty people out there who are genuine and trustworthy. And there are plenty people out there who are sort of traitors, are sort of opportunists, are sort of mocking pretenders. And we don't have to bother with them. Let us stand our ground, people. Let us say our prayers, because we have to say like our leader, we put God in front and we walk behind. And do not be discouraged. Do not be discouraged. Because I have seen many people in this country who were untouchable. They were bajons, they were terrorists, they were gangsters, they were everything that people feel was so big and bad. And with them now, they still deal with them. So don't worry. If we keep on fighting, and let us unite, and let us be strong, and the PNM going to go just where that to go, in the middle of the ocean. Blessings, gentlemen.
The Crowd Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, bang, bang.
Thank you so much, Miss Woodbrook. Wow. Good morning, call away, calling from. What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Andy Williams, I had a dream last night, boy. I'll see you in your jacket and tie, and you're in Parliament, boy. You're representing your people, and God will give you that strength to move on and on. Andy Williams, what I would like to see that happen in Trinidad and Tobago, which never happened before. I would like to see that Imbut, Rowley, Short Young, give their asset, and we wanted the jail. I want to see them jail because they're suffering people, eating their belly full, and they never care about the poor man. I would like to really see them get their help. And Rowley and all the money all they're having, one heart attack and all the lie down dead. I wish all that thing, but God will deal with all you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Oh boy.
Yeah, Andy, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Mikey. Morning on the ground report family. Andy, I grew up in a P&M home. As a youth man coming up, the age of 14, 15, we're in school, and see my mother and voting.
Seeing your mother them here. Go ahead.
Voting P&M, boy. And not once, ever, once I see these people do something for my parents. My parents fight up to mine we, but it's 12 hour we. You understand? I never once see P&M bring a hamper, not even a grocery bag, them 9-pole bag with grocery. I tell you all them time was pressure when my father had problems with work, and you know, my mother used to work like 1 or 2 like small 10 days. She lucky to get one, if she granted one. And I tell you what, Mr. Mikey, Mr. Andy, it wasn't a nice feeling, boy. I know the downfall, the hungriness and the starvation under the P&M, boy. And the age of my age, when I become that age, I vote P&M. Only once, that only happened once. Andy, I never vote P&M in my life again. Because my parents tell me, so and so thing, I vote P&M thing. And I'm going with that. I was young, I was stupid. When I got to the real understanding and the realization of life now, and I have a family.
Call back Apache. Just wait for the voice note and call back the Apache. Oh boy.
You know, and I realize what this country come to under the P&M government. Rowley and the administration starve poor people.
Apache, voice note.
For 9 years, going in 10 years now. I could ever vote P&M again, my Mr. Andy, but I could ever vote them, the kind of suffering I see and them sending a youth man coming up going to school. It wasn't nice, boy. I tell you, boy, I just see joy, I just see happiness, I just see love on that Kamala Prasad Bisesa, boy. That one I love for every queen and race have an equal place under this lady, boy. She will get my vote any day.
Apache, listen to the program now. If you listen to the program, you're going to realize that we're taking voice notes. We ain't taking no calls right now. We're playing a voice note, my brother. Oh boy, but the man voice not going there, boy. The man talking with. Go ahead, Apache. Morning.
Morning, and the morning to the staff. But
We ain't listening to the program,
I
man.
have a simple question. Mr. Stewart, don't answer it. What is the relationship with Mr. Stuart Young and a gentleman by the name of Mr. Hope from Barbados when they were at Cable University studying? I need Stuart Young to answer that, and I have good information what the relationship was. It was alleged that it was alleged there was an intimate relationship with these two gentlemen. I want to make that assumption is because her Hope mother is from Trinidad. I know her personally. Mr. Hope's father is a Barbadian. I don't know him personally, but I know him. I would like Mr. Stuart Young to answer that question. On the topic now of the changing of the coat of the arms to have the three pans, the color of our national flag is red, white, and black. Do you know which country also have a national flag that is red, white, and black? It is Yemen, where the Houthis and them is, which is the Houthis and them right now, where they are operating out of as proxies for Iran. My question is to the Prime Minister. If they want to change the coat of arms, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that, but not at this time. Why don't you change the color of the flag and also? And you have a blessed one, but I'm be safe out there.
Thank you very much. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. One more. I'll just finish off the man voice. No there, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm gonna finish off the man voice note.
Anytime, anyway. Either UNC until death. I don't. Into dictionaries and learning words and things. So I know the words and things to describe myself when I'm talking to people. And I see pain, like I see pain. My mother have no money to send me to school, boy. Real pressure I see in the pain and government, boy. And I could tell these people today to better wise up and vote out this pain and government. Here why I'm telling you. As you will be seeing pain, more pain. People will be dying every day. Robbery, kidnapping, invasion. Under this government that's a corrupt people and corrupt attitude, corrupt behavior. It will never change. And I, today, Mr. Andy, I tell my mother at UMC, I tell my brothers, see, you understand what I'm telling you? My mother is at UNC today. Thank God for that. She
What?
called her a nutshell.
So she tell him parents she's like
dirty
UNC now.
shell. A PLM dirty shell. Come out of that.
Come out
She
of
got
that.
UNC now. Thank God for that. I turned my mom's a UNC and all my rest of brothers. I will always be a UNC boy. I don't care what nobody say, boy. I see love. I see understanding under this UNC government, boy. Kamala Prasad, she's the queen of this land, boy. She's the mother earth of this land. You understand what I'm saying? You dealing with a man and putting him in power there. One heart and love for people. He don't care about nobody, boy. He don't care about nobody, boy. You got people who are working today and have 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 children and have bills to pay, boy. And no work provided for them, no opportunity for the youths and them. That's the reason why the youths and them are turn to gun. And hear what black people just be telling themselves. Nah, they may want to work. They may want to work, but if they're gay, no work. Because I have friends around them who working, so they involve them to work. They want work, but they're not getting no work. The moral of the story, Andy, PNM have to go. Must go, will go, by the grace of God.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Good morning, I'm Akash Samaru with headline news on CNC3. A police service departmental order comes into effect today, restricting the use of police tactical wear to officers in 4 units. These units are the Guard and Emergency Branch, Interagency Task Force, National Operation Task Force, and Multi-Operational Police Section. Officers assigned to other divisions must return their kits by Wednesday or face internal disciplinary action and possible dismissal. This is some criminals are using tactical wear to impersonate officers. All officers must also display their badges.
Drastic times call for drastic measures, and therefore the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has taken a stand because we recognize that the lives of our citizens are at stake.
Kenneth Pierre was killed on Thursday morning while driving through Port of Spain. Around 7 in the vicinity of Richardson Lane and Fromage Street in Laventil Road, residents including children on their way to school ran for cover while motorists sped up as gunshots rang out. The 32-year-old port employee was driving his white Nissan Tiida when gunmen opened fire on him. He lost control of the vehicle, which crashed into a wall. Officers from the Duncan Street Police Post took Pierre to the hospital, however, he did not survive. Following his murder, rapid gunfire was again heard in the city. And the Port Authority says 22,000 people will travel to Tobago between October 23rd and the 29th for Carnival. Because of the demand, they added an additional 2,700 seats to the Sea Bridge. The Port Authority Chairman Lyle Alexander says the Inter-Island Transport Service is prepared to handle increased loads in the coming days.
We have prepared for it, and we are ready to move the passengers as they require, to the best of our ability as usual.
Well, those were your 6 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour, right here on CNC3.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang. As a woman, I am naturally led to condemn statements which seek to indecently portray another woman. Statements which trivialize criminal activities which exploit women, or statements which impute improper conduct on behalf of other members. Honorable members may recall that it was on the said Thursday that I expressed my condemnation of the use of language which was not reflective of the civility expected of this House. I once again direct members to refrain from misogynistic, homophobic, and disparaging remarks in this House. However, as disappointed as I may be that my initial admonishment may have been muted, I am confident that as we proceed with the business before the House in the coming months, that all members will heed this guidance and strictly observe the standing orders. Honorable members, I have taken note that there is circulated in the public domain a statement akin to an apology attributed to the member of Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. If in fact that statement is that of the member of Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, I am of the view that it does not satisfy that which is required of him to purge himself of his despicable behavior in the South. I rule that the member for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, at the appropriate time, shall unreservedly withdraw the unparliamentary, offensive, and insulting language which he used, and apologize to this House and its members for not respecting the dignity and the decorum of this House. And I so rule.
The Crowd Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, bang, bang,
Lennox Smith, a pleasant good morning to you, my brother.
Well, a pleasant good morning to you.
Let me do all of that first before I introduce you, boy. I know you're going to make a footballer. All this from the news to this, my God. Go ahead, Lennox Smith.
Pleasant good morning to you as well, my friend. Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good morning to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed. This is the final day of the week for the ground report. Of course, tonight I will be on my sabbatical, so to speak, the corridor transformation. In other words, I will be absent, but in my favorite watering hole, as the local parlance is. But I was awaiting, of course. I did not listen or abreast myself as to the outcome of that attempt by the leader of the opposition to get Stuart Young to the Privileges Committee of the Parliament. However, of course, I wanted to get a feel from the callers themselves. I got a little glimpse from that of Ms. Santa Cruz earlier on. But since you presented, of course, all of the goings-on, or should I say the conclusion of the goings-on with respect to that matter, I must say that while she said that it didn't qualify, and one cannot question the parameters and the thinking of the speaker why it has not been qualified, because I know that under normal circumstances that would have. However, to take him to the Privilege Committee, that is, and of course there are certain factors that you have to look at, whether or not he was conscious, whether or not the thing was a pure, a fake, etc. And in my view, it had all those qualities. But if she says that, listen, as a compromise, she would like him, of course, to, at the appropriate time, and it appears to his convenience, apologize to the House unreservedly. We await to see how reserved that to the extent to which that unreservedly is built in to whatever apology that the Minister of Energy and former, or I had to say now, former acting Prime Minister. I don't know if Rowley will still have the audacity, and I'm not pretending to be on him, but let's see, I'm challenging him to have him, of course, act as Prime Minister whenever he has to leave in the very short time that they still have in office. But let's see how that pans out. I suspect that if he has to go away tomorrow, for example, Stuart Young may have to, of course, before all of that, make his apology to the House. So while it is not an absolute and total, should I say, conclusion to this very, what I consider to be bizarre, misogynic, nasty, horrendous, unparliamentary, derogatory, degrading, and of course bringing the House itself into disrepute. I suspect that one of the things that might have influenced the decision of the speaker to come to this compromise, really, because it's a compromise. What was required was he being referred to the Privileges Committee, maybe because it didn't come to her ears. It wasn't in her presence that the statement was made and within her hearing, because it was just about the time when she was taken over from the deputy speaker, and they had a very brief conversation after he, of course, asked the Minister of Finance to wind up. And it is in that short window or period that, of course, the statement was made with the, of course, in the presence, or should I say, with the mics being on, and that the rest of it is history. But the fact of the matter is that he did come up with a compromise, not totally satisfactory to people like myself, but that is a decision anyway. And let's see what we will do with respect to any opportunity for Stuart Young to serve as acting prime minister, particularly if he would have not yet made his apology to the House. So we look at, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, but that does not take away the egregiousness of the statement. It does not obfuscate in no way at all the fact that the PNM as an entity and as the leadership in particular would continue, of course, to make statements like these, and we have a plethora. In fact, I am putting all of these together now that that has come to the forefront, and even though they try to with their jacket and tie and appear to be, of course, a sort of impeccable, and that, of course, Rowley will claim that the PNM is of a higher standard, all the kind of hogwash that, of course, he would demonstrate and verbalize something contrary to the reality, because we know they are crooks. We know that they are nefarious. We know that they are miscreants. We know that they are rapscallions. We know that they are dishonorable. And we know that they are conmen and conwomen. And the PNM itself is a criminal enterprise that has been morphed into such over the period, particularly in the last 9 years. And therefore, in such circumstance, I see it very difficult for the PNM as an entity, the individuals daring to exculpate themselves from that characterization, that name, that pseudonym, if you want to call it that they have acquired for on their own. Nobody in, because they had options. Rowley could have spoken differently about women and children, etc. But he chose to do that, and therefore we know that that is their nature, that is their DNA, and that cannot be washed away now. And the people will have a choice now. They know we can do better. They know we can live better. They know we must live better. And of course, once the elections is called and they are out of office, then of course the blue lights and handcuff investigations will pursue, I'm sure, immediately with the Kamala Prasad Bisasa and UNC administration. That's what I would like to mention for the time being. I don't want to take up too much of time, and I know that people would have had their own say on this matter. So back to you, unless you want me to talk about some other items that may be in the news. And on a Friday, we like to talk about things that did not make the news during the course of the week, so we put an appropriate climax to, of course, the week's work, which, of course, is very intensive and indeed very research-oriented, because as we say on this program, the truth and nothing but the truth. Andy? Yes, well, it appears that he may be a bit indisposed at the moment, but the fact of the matter is that there are issues that may not have attracted our attention on the program. For example, well, this one happened yesterday, where not too far from where I am on George Street, or where we are on George Street, that there's a shooting incident. A young man was killed driving his way to his place of work. And of course, the task force that is, or the police post that is right on Duncan Street, so two streets from here, we have, of course, after George Street, heading east, you have to meet Nelson Street, and then the next street is Duncan Street. So that's how close it is. And of course, I got information that even in the building here, the gunshots were heard. And of course, the investigation has shown, as you saw in that clip earlier, a young man lost his life. Of course, the investigation continues, and we will be looking at that. Of course, in Tobago, we have, of course, the Tobago Carnival coming up. Of course, there are pros and cons, criticism one way, and of course, praises the other way. But this is part of the dynamism of a democracy, where, of course, you have the dialectic, meaning that opposing forces criticizing or critiquing a particular issue, but at the end of the day, in such circumstances, the population or the receivers of the service ought to benefit. But when we have a situation where people would use their various offices to manipulate the system and to undermine the integrity and the, should I say, the sanity of certain institutions, like Rowley and the PNM has been doing, then of course that is skewed, and the real beneficiary, the people of the country, are none the wiser, and the country itself will of course suffer a degradation and erosion of what ought to be, because I've always said that Trinidad and Tobago ought to be, with the resources that we would have had, passing through, of course, the country like a dose of salts, should it be the Singapore of the West, in spite of the fact that even without that ambition, we are still about the third richest, and maybe the fourth now, because Guyana would have taken us over, but certainly was the fourth richest, so we could say that very categorically, country in the Western Hemisphere. So, well, you know, a number of factors would contribute to that fact. The fact is that we have a small population, small island, but of course a high GDP, and of course GDP per capita as well. That is how it is measured. GDP per capita, meaning that how much, if you take all the wealth of the country, convert it into money, and then of course you divide it by the amount of people, you would see that each person should be getting about 20,000 US dollars. That is the way that these things are calculated to determine how rich our country is. Of course, the disparities that exist, that is not taken away, because of course it is across the board calculation. But we know that there are disparities. We know that people do not have jobs. So we know that the government has not created jobs. We know that there is, of course, a very little, if any at all, foreign direct investment, particularly outside of the oil, gas, and petrochemical areas. And then, of course, we have entrepreneurship that is very entrepreneurial class that is very timid, that's very frightened, that is do not have the confidence because of the way the policies and programs of this administration have been not just formulated but have been rolled out. They're saying one thing, but of course a different thing as far as the population is concerned, and as far as their experiences are concerned. Andy, you can intervene at any time, and of course if we have a caller, yes. As usual, I will of course give way. But those are some of the areas that I would want at this point in time in the last day of the ground report for the week. We resume on Monday. Don't forget, of course, from 8 o'clock, we will have, of course, Gael Caribbean. We will be joined there, and we really appreciate all of the players and this simulcast, if you want to call it that, where, of course, Realmedia is considered to be ground zero or headquarters, and then, of course, you have a Corridor Transformation carrying it as we speak right now, both on YouTube and Facebook, and then of course you have the Workers Union as well, the Workers' Rights Union carrying it as well, and I think it augurs well for information dissemination, distillation of the facts, and of course demonstrating the kind of priority that we must have as we move forward, because after all, we must live better, we can do better, and we must of course engage in issues that are relevant to to us and not the what I consider the obfuscations and the deflections that is stereotypical of the Rowley administration. They engage, of course, in frivolous, nebulous, superficial, and superfluous issues that ought to be serious, and that is why, of course, you would have had a situation where caught by
What I want to do
accident.
is just play one voice, some quick voice
No
notes
problem.
there.
Let me just conclude here by saying caught accidentally saying something that ought not to have been part and parcel of the narrative or the discussion or the oration of any parliamentarian in the parliament. And yesterday's attempt to carry him to the privileges committee, he short young for those statements, is a glaring demonstration of what ought not to be. And that is why we have to get rid of the PNM in order to make certain that we get back to a place where we can do better and must do better and carry Trinidad and Tobago forward. Go ahead, Andy.
Yes.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Morning. Andy, what you have been saying is true, but why that witch then, when she don't make that statement, take she broom and just fly away from there, boy?
Yes, Grand Rising, Andy Williams, Mikey K, and Lennox Smith. Grand Rising to the panel and all the listeners across Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, Andy, so I want to shift this thing for a little bit. I want the people to start rising other than morning. Every single day for the past so much years, we've been getting up and everything. Morning, everybody morning. What we mourning about? And then we wonder why people dying constantly in Trinidad. Up to now, even the older people in our society can't get it that the tongue speaketh powers and from words. Words is casting spells. This word we keep on using morning every time. Whether it's the morning with M-O-U-R-N or M-O-R-N is the same morning. Is the pronunciation of the words. And I think of a station or a platform with right thinking people or critically thinking people, we should start to use the correct term or terminologies when it comes to certain things. That is in order for we to send a different signal or vibration to the universe in order for we to get back something that is righteous for us. Right? Because, I mean, everybody keep on going ignorantly towards the same thing every day, doing the same thing and expecting change. I don't see it. The next thing is, I want to ask these 1% across Trinidad and Tobago, the so-called elites, the ones we wrongly say, by any means we have to make them get richer. Because to me, from my observation thus far, I want to believe that they're putting Trinidad through some sort of experiment with the people and having the people living under certain circumstances until they get accustomed that they no longer have to do much because the people are already doing it to their own self, which is making the wrong decision every 5 years, voting for the PNM, which is run by the 1%, which is the white Caucasians in Trinidad and Tobago. Not just them, but the Chinese, Syrians, Africans, and Indians, if you want to put it that way. These people are not for the blacks. So until the rest of the Africans across Trinidad realize such, stop make such decision. Thank you.
Oh boy, let me play a next voice note. Yeah, but just watch your phone there. You understand what I'm saying just now, but let me just play the next voice note here. Some voice notes are in. Wow.
Morning, Andy, Mikey, and Lennox Smith. Mikey. Andy for Grandy and Grandy for Andy.
Good enough.
Andy,
You know, good. You're a fighter, boy.
if we do not vote out the PNM and Rowley, if Trinidadians don't listen to you and the party and get rid of Rowley and the PNM And the only people who could come to America will be Rowley and the PNM because their bank account is over here. They got a lot of money hiding. So they could come. The rest of you guys, all you PNM supporters, you guys will get nothing, no visa, nothing to come to this country. So if all you have the right mind, all you need to vote out the PNM because Trump is going to stop visas. But all of pray that both cameras win and we'll be all set. You guys, the Trump man I call all a shithole country, he's going to show who really the shithole country. You don't have money to push up Trump, you know where, you are going to get a visa to come here, my friend. So all you people who middle class who could travel, and all the people who get visa to come to America, brother, it been said last night, no visa, we're going to revoke a lot of those black people from New York, the asylum, the Hallam or whatever they call them. I don't live there, but anyhow, please, we need to get rid of the PNM and the Prime Minister, and we need to get back all of our money that they stole. Okay, Andy Pagandi? Okay. Yes, Santa Cruz, you're right. You're 100% right. Let California call and criticize them because that guy's an idiot. California only call and say, oh, what you have in camera. Man, I like camera too. I like cheese. I like both cameras, brother.
All right, Raj. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What I would like to, oh, it have no more voice notes now, but everybody meanwhile, send your voice notes. Please send your voice notes because, again, I would like Lennox to be able to, give us an idea, well, why all of a sudden the apology from the witch in Parliament? Or she said, well, she was against it, but yet still, it ended up going through, but yet still. So it's just real funny. And how her apology was too, as a Speaker of the House, how she talks, she reading out, actually reading, technically reading the right, like, she was giving a script, hey, this is how you need to talk in. This is how you need to talk. Lennox Smith, why you believe of this whole apology, this whole thing going here? Why? Is it outside pressure? Is it the gays and or the LGBT community? Or it has some big wings in that pull up on them? Or is it the business sector? Who you think pull up on these people and them?
Yeah, if I am to, of course, focus on a kingpin or a major issue that would have influenced the position that she would have taken, I have to do so again too, because during the Standing Finance Committee as well, Ford did pull up on all of the government ministers as well, protecting Ravi Ratiram on questions that he would have asked when the agricultural ministry was in focus. And I suspect that they know that the end of the PNM is nigh, and that's a strong possibility, even though they may be focused on the PNM, and therefore what they're doing is preparing themselves for a post-Rowley PNM, and as a consequence, they want to look in these 12 days, in these what I consider to be penultimate days, the day before the last, to look good. That's the kingpin. In terms of the other areas of influence, clearly the national disquiet, because I mean this thing went viral, and they had to say something that will at minimum appease, but at the same time not to be as harsh as they ought to be, in order to, of course, because they still have a foot inside of the PNM as far as loyalty to the party is concerned. Now they will tell us that we ought not to put politics and assume or attribute hidden agenda on the part of the speaker and and the chairman of the committee when they are sitting in that capacity. But let's face it, we have seen it over and over. Not if you don't do that, then you are being naive and at worst foolish to think that they are independent and they are thinking independent. No. So they had to generate a balance, and on this occasion, with respect to and he said she felt that she had a little more leeway so she could feel, because she did in fact, when Imbert stood up eventually to conclude the debate on, or wind up the debate on the fiscal package for 2025, he did talk about a bathroom break. At the same time, he don't know why they're leaving, and it maybe they go to, and then she pull up on him one time, talk about the speaker, and she watch him in a kind of bad eye, even though she had on, of course, a mask, and of course he immediately, of course, retorted, and then of course he apologized somewhat, and then of course went on to the substantive, very irksome conclusion that he gave in the Parliament. So you have all these factors playing, and I think those are the areas that have influenced the kind of response by the speaker. But I think while the issue of the PNM on its way out factor would have reigned supreme, I think a close second would have been the disquiet of the public. Remember, this thing went, of course, as I said earlier, viral, and the population would have wanted an appropriate response. To do otherwise would have, of course, deepened the biases and of course, proliferate the hatred for the PNM, and of course the clear, of course, taken aside position of the Speaker of the House. So as far as giving her a mark, I will give her out of 10, I will give her a 5. So I give her 50%, the way how she concluded the whole thing, because she had to appease the party and at the same time appease the population, and then come up with something rational, so that after the PNM would have been out of office, she could still, of course, have some kind of dignity and pride and reason for going on in Trinidad and Tobago. Unlike Rowley, who would have to, of course, to make his departure after he would have done such a nasty and evil job of Prime Minister and government at the end of this exercise in 2025, when the elections would have been called. So that's my position. Andy normally doesn't like me to talk more than an or two, but I realize that he wants me to. So it appears that, and that is usually, people, let me tell you the truth, is usually because he has something else to do now. So he will allow me to pick up the vacuum, and then of course he will come in and say I'm talking too much. But that's quite all right. I'm game in that regard. But of course, what are the consequences? Well, the consequences will have to be one, that the population know for sure that Rowley and they are not what they claim to be. They are not honorable people, and I've always said that when dishonorable people take honorable office or acquire honorable office, the only outcome can be what inadvertently, because they would have not liked us to hear that audio at all. And what triggered it? Because the opposition was walking out on them. That's all, you know, and they want to have the cake and eat it. Because I remember very distinctly when Rowley brought those fake emails into the Parliament, and Imbert responded. And of course, they were looking. The argument was that the PNM and the political leader is being a victim of the overwhelming power of the majority in the Parliament, the government at that time of Kamala Prasad Bisesa. They promptly walked out after he made his response. And that also occurred when, of course, when Vanilla Toppin had, of course, in a very comprehensive way and a very detailed way, spoke of his licentious past. And of course, we are not on Gael yet, so I could say that having been accused of rape as I have been doing over the last now nine years of Rowley being a rapist and a pedophile, and he has not yet responded. One half-hearted, one sort of what I consider to be not impromptu, but certainly a grandstand that he took some time and say he's going to St. Augustine, and they accuse him of being a rapist, and the society has violence, and he's going to address that matter when he goes up to St. Augustine at that famous Pan Theatre location. But when he got there, I was there waiting, of course, to ask him questions, but he never broached the subject. So I lost that opportunity. But of course, as everybody would know by now, I have sent him, of course, a pre-action letter on the question of he, through his proxies, his lawyers, and of course, officer of the Ministry of Information, but connected to the Prime Minister's office, when they asked for a copy of what I said in respect of Dr. Rowley being a rapist and a pedophile, I did send, of course, as I said, all those suggest to me that they were trying to intimidate me through or for and on behalf, vicariously on behalf of Rowley. So I sent him a pre-action protocol letter indicating essentially that through his lawyers and his other representatives, he is accusing me of being a liar, and from that perspective my reputation is lost. I have lost, of course, income, etc. And then, of course, but that is a matter that I will formally file in due course as the election season let's say becomes more and more evident. So I've done that, and I say that to say that is just about 5 or 6 months now, and it tells me that it deepens the lawlessness of this administration, because if Dr. Rowley gets a pre-action protocol letter which was delivered by hand to his office, one would have expected, one, he would have passed it on to his lawyers, and two, I would have gotten a response long before the 14 days that would have expired. But what they believe, clearly they are operating on the fact, on their notion that I will not pursue the matter. Well, I think that and a pink donkey, they may not, they will not live to see, because this is about timing, and this is about, of course, seeking justice, not just for me, but to let the population know that these people are the bane, are the evil, the axis of evil, that they ought not to have been in office in the first place. And it's a serious indictment on the PNM itself to be able to have at the helm, as their leader, a man with a background like Rowley, managing their affairs, engaging in misogynic statement. You'd say you think what Stuart Young said was offensive because I'm sure they might have been saying those things in private, but because it is in the public. But Dr. Rowley has been saying that in the public since he came into office, maligning people willy-nilly, helter-skelter, particularly those who he believe is his political enemy, and even those who might have been of recent vintage turn his political enemy, and at one time, of course, as he would like to say, the enemy of the friend of my enemy, or something to that effect, is my enemy, or vice versa. But the fact of the matter is that he would have, of course, crushed and betrayed even that, and we see that with the way how he dealt with Roger as a person, having, of course, dragged mannequin and effigy of Kamala Persad-Bissessar when she was Prime Minister, clearly for Rowley to benefit. And now Rowley has gotten there, promised them, of course, the oil refinery, and then take it back, and then, of course, send some very ominous salvos to Roger, telling him, among other things, don't threaten him, of course. But Roger was merely speaking to the betrayal, and that which he did not expect, because there was even, of course, as you know, a memorandum saying, well, listen, this is how we will operate when the PNM under Rowley gets into office. And that was demonstrated in the first budget when, of course, an allocation, I think about $14 million was allocated just so out of the blues to, of course, the trade union movement, where, of course, Roger and they would have benefited. So suggesting that there was an agreement, there was an arrangement, but, of course, Rowley, as per usual, toxic as he is, and reckless and brutal as he has demonstrated, will, of course, if he believes that he has a distinct advantage, will certainly breach any arrangement, and so said, so done. He's Prime Minister. He has, of course, all the cards in his favor at that point in time. So he thought. Well, of course, he acted. I don't know if Rowley comes back and say, look, Heritage, take the not Heritage, Patriotic, take the oil refinery. If Roger and they will just turn again and, of course, be condescending and support Rowley and the PNM. I trust that common sense will make them understand that you cannot trust such a dangerous individual. His toxicity knows no limit, and of course they have weaponized government against the people, and the longer they stay there is more dangerous for Trinidad and Tobago as a nation. Andy. Yes, indeed. So those are some of the areas that I would have wanted, of course, to look at. We have many issues. Most of you would know them. There are very few that you may not be familiar with, but certainly what we know that is common to all of us is that the PNM must be gotten rid of. There is an imperative, there is a necessity. We are faced with the Hobson's choice, but more than that, when the UNC and Kamala Persad-Bissessar gets into office, we have an additional responsibility to make sure that the PNM doesn't try to sanitize themselves, as we are seeing in Tobago now, in order to get back into office, because we know that is a wolf in sheep clothing agenda that they would have had. And when they get back in, they go back to, of course, their disrespect and their mismanagement and their nepotism and cronyism, and of course lining their pockets at the expense of the poor, the downtrodden, the vulnerable, and of course gravitating to the 1%, the very few who they provide with ham, lamb and jam of the state at our expense, and that must not reoccur. And that much we have learned, particularly over the last 9 years. And while we would have had some semblance or some elements of it under the Manning administration, because let's be clear, the likes of Rowley could not have been the political leader of the PNM before 1986. Let's not waste time. The likes of Rowley and or Manning could not have been leader of the PNM before 1986. So therefore, what we have really after 1986 is a bunch of opportunistic political parasites, clearly, that have criminologistic tendency. And we have seen the PNM itself morphed into a full-blown criminal enterprise. And of course, the undisputed and the pellucid and the conspicuous exemplification and manifestation of that reality is that of Balize House, and they cannot tell us where they get over $100 million to construct that monstrosity of steel, iron, cement, etc., having regard to the fact that in 2015, Rowley said he inherited a bankrupt PNM. Let me repeat. Rowley said he inherited a bankrupt PNM and was owing over $5 million to a bank and several, of course, media in particular, agencies. But to date, you are constructing a monstrosity of over $100 million, and we ain't started to talk about outfitting yet. That's just the construction. Where you get the money from? And you've refused to tell us. Well, anybody with a modicum of common sense, a potpourri of common sense, will know that it's only because they are in office and they have access to managing the financial resources of the country, and this is as a consequence of that. You cannot dissolve, or you cannot separate the presence of the PNM under Rowley in government, and that would have been responsible for suddenly you are awash with resources. You have a windfall of over $100 million to build that monstrosity. Anybody with a modicum of common sense, and especially in circumstances, your suspicion should be even more intense when, of course, they refuse to account as to where they got that money from. It is not sufficient to say that councillors and ministers, of course, made contribution over that period. No, it is not sufficient, because with that kind of money we're talking about, are you saying that all of them gave up their salaries over the last 9 years? All of them. And even when they gave it up, they couldn't meet $100 million. It couldn't meet $100 million. Couldn't equal to $100 million uncounted. So where you get the money from? Oh, and we know that you didn't close down National Lottery in order to sell raffle tickets. You couldn't sell enough raffle tickets to get $100 million. And more significantly, if in case those sycophants somehow, by some epiphany, by some, of course, abstract nonsensicality, mystery, thinking that they get the money legitimately. Well, Eric Williams was the man who said that they should have a place where they could call their own. He left, of course, what Rowley met there. I am saying this to say that until 1986, and therefore from 1956, PNM was in government. How come they couldn't build anything? How come? And then Rowley, by 2015.
They sell raffles, man.
2015.
By the people. They sell raffle, man, to you.
Met a broken PNM. A broken PNM in 2015. What the hell?
And they sell raffle by the malls, and they make the $200 million or the $100 million to build the Balize house. At this point in time,
yeah, right.
They stop sell raffle. The raffle is now the treasury. That just would
now you're talking.
You are invited.
Now you're talking.
The numbers and the lines
yes,
are
indeed,
open.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Andy, for that, for allowing me to express my usual venting on a Friday. But go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, the
lines are open. 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120. Or give us a WhatsApp call at 366-3053, 366-3053. I'm going to check for your voice notes one time too. What's on your front burner, Trinidad and Tobago? Today is Friday.
I can't wait.
What's supposed to make news that not making news? Let us know. What's your input in this fight? What it is?
Yeah, we want to know what's your opinion on the decision of the speaker. Are you disappointed? Was it part of this course? Did you expect that? Or worse, for that matter of fact, because it could have said, well, she see nothing wrong, and of course, give him a verbal slap on the wrist, so to speak, and done with that. And she hoped that will be concluded, but she didn't do that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Lennox.
Yes.
I see you're obsessed with Balize House. The thing about it is, if Kamala and they didn't thief out the money that the UNC had, they will have a home for their own. But is everybody crabbing the barrel fighting to thief? They thief from their own self. That is why they can't have anything. They're just like you. A hustler, a set of hustlers, convicted hustlers.
Indeed, that amount of diatribe, that showed that them are like woman. That speaker look like she stand up and pee.
Yeah,
Pleasant morning to the ground report, Andy, Mikey, Lennox. After all has been said, all these derogatory things and degrading things about the opposition leader by Stuart Young, where are the leaders, the religious leaders, who come out and defending the woman or bat for the woman as being servant of God, leaders in religious organization? I didn't hear one of them come out. Or they don't have a mother. I can understand. These people are a set of hypocrites. That is what our society is filled of. A lot of hypocrites in high places. They only come out when it suits them and when their party are in problems.
Thank you. Next caller, a pleasant good morning to you. We're calling from, and what's your contribution to the ground report this morning?
If I'm a contractor, and I say here what, you have a raffle, right? I have to a ticket. I say what I write. Give me 100,000 tickets. Where the fraud in that? Where you get through, so I don't know where they put up with where they get the money and the contractor and all that kind of thing. If a man legitimately say, come, give me 100,000 tickets by 100, like 10 million, what are they going to say about that? How are they going to prove any fraud went on it? You need to prove that the fraud is to a kickback and they put back that money when they in a contract fee or wherever. So what they get on the outside. So you see, everything have its ways and means, Don't feel it's just, or else you could just say, it's silver bracelets and blue light. Everything have a cover up, and these people are very bright. So it's not as easy as Kamala come in and it could be locked up and locked up. It's not that easy, How much politicians you ever get? How much politicians ever get locked up in this thing? Very few, and it's only minute out of all these politicians, all this corruption. Nobody don't go against. There's a whole clan of politicians, All of them together, whether they're inside or outside, all of them together. So this thing with is people going to get locked up and up. Yeah, like Rolly might pick up there before they can call a case for it. I see why, because the way the judicial system, nothing is passed. A man gets charged, the hearing is like 2 years away. A man gets a simple ticket, you go down contest, it's 4 years away. So the judiciary is so slow. So they are not like nobody going to face no jail and nobody going to get locked up. And I wishful thinking. It's a good thinking, but wishful thinking in this country. All right, gentlemen. Thanks. Enjoy your day.
Boy. I like that fella comment. Because I saw plenty people out there thinking and how it go. And that is how it comes across. And that is how it really is. You barely just see any politician getting locked up for fraud. For corruption. And the man right, the way how that play off, they make sure they organize and they cover all the tracks. How you going to get him? How?
Well, if I
Lennox always say silver bracelet, Lennox, silver bracelet. How they gain it? Let me hear how they gain it.
And I will be highly. I will describe how it will happen with a high degree of specificity. The first thing is that Dr. Rowley is the first Prime Minister to be as blatant as it is. And incidentally, Pandey was brought before the courts. Right? Let's not waste time. And I'm just using him because he was a former Prime Minister. So let's not waste time with that. So that has occurred. The problem with Pandey is that it was a concocted accusation. They were not the proof. But in the case of Rowley, are you saying then that Rowley did not confess that it was he who interfered with that shortlist that created the debacle? And the,
did admit that.
Right, good. Can they divorce themselves from a minister at the highest level, the governmental level, with respect to the hiring or the utilization of that plane to kidnap a citizen from this country from Barbados? Can Rowley and they get away from the fact that they took the entire cabinet to make the decision to close down Petrotrin in circumstances that is inimical to the interests of Trinidad and Tobago? Let me repeat, inimical to the interests of Trinidad and Tobago.
How they go to jail for that?
Let me tell you how.
All right,
because it is considered misbehavior. Misbehavior in public office, contrary to the Integrity in Public Life Act. There are other areas as well, but nobody could say that it didn't take the entire cabinet and all who were involved to, of course, make that decision that turned out to be inimical to Trinidad and Tobago. More significantly, Rowley would have taken his lawyer and put him in a position where all the legacy issues, including, of course, that so-called 850 million bullet payment, that was his first iteration of the reason for closing down Petrotrin, when all of the other experts say no, it shouldn't be done that way. But even further, the cold now case of the fake oil matter and the fact that the police have shelved it, but that was as a consequence, or is as a consequence, of the influence of Rowley and his government. Again, that is misbehavior in public office by any stretch of the imagination, utilizing your office to manipulate a scenario and, of course, scuttle a criminal investigation into that bizarre situation that has created a foreign exchange shortage and crisis in Trinidad and Tobago today. It contributed to that. Once again, as I say, specificity. Can anyone absolve Rowley from the fact that he, as the Prime Minister, appointed, of course, the boards of these corporations, and then when the matter was brought to their attention, $400 million was spent to purchase a company without the approval of the cabinet, and then, of course, he endorses it. Are you saying that cannot happen? And then again, when we have a situation where Al-Rawi's children, like everybody else, their children would have been, of course, caught by the police on the basis of a video, but the Prime Minister comes up and says that is Al-Rawi children. Up to now, Al-Rawi has not claimed that those are his children. Let me give you the creme de la creme. The Vincent Nelson matter is the most egregious. No Prime Minister, never before, and the evidence is so pellucid. It was Rowley who, before the so-called indemnity agreement came to the fore, Rowley was up and down on a political platform saying that Vincent Nelson is helping them to do what? To put members of the Kamala Persad-Bissessa administration in handcuffs. Don't forget that. And that he went on further. He said, you remember Pamesa? Pamesa is the man who turned state witness. And of course, as a result, Abdul Malik was, of course, convicted. But of course, forgetting that in a criminal matter, a person cannot be bribed, because it turned out that $10 million was paid, whether the person was entitled to it or not, or it was in court or not. I am sure that with the appropriate witness support and, of course, the circumstantial evidence, it will be clear that the government of Trinidad and Tobago not only knew, the cabinet knew, but of course Al-Rawi himself should be held culpable for drafting up that agreement. And it may well be that even the lawyers that are involved in a situation where they know it was underhanded, or if the evidence is such, because there is case law to support something like that, where a person who is part of a criminal matter and he goes to court to tell the court to, of course, do what? To make that man pay me my portion. You know what happened? There's a famous case called the Highwayman case, where a fella, two of them went and robbed somewhere. One shortchange the next one, take all the money. The one who was subjected to that went to court and sued the next one for taking all the money. Well, the court, jail, them, the lawyers who was involved who bring the case and all of that. So the point I am making is that this is an anomaly and a beautiful opportunity, different from anyone in the past, and therefore not even the Pandey case, could meet or could have met the evidential requirements that is so obvious. Any rookie investigator coming out from training college could gather this evidence and make Rowley and they accountable criminally and civilly. Go ahead, my friend. That is it.
Well, my brother, you can always call back in. You said that again. I wish if it was a voice note that would have been able to play it for the other people who now come lock on to the ground report to hear your concerns.
It is very, very, very clear.
Because your concerns,
evidence,
my brother,
must make a jail.
It's something all over every community. Everybody says that. Exactly we say. I and all they say that. Politicians don't get locked up for corruption. They will make sure everything is clear in order that nothing can happen.
This is a different scenario, my friend. It's a different scenario.
Let me hear if the people of Trinidad and Tobago
I'll give them a chance.
agree with your point. So Trinidad and Tobago, you heard the gentleman. Do you all agree with what the gentleman is saying? That politicians, COP, you agree with the government as the gentleman is saying, Mr. COP? Come on, all of you over there. All they agree? Or you all agree with what it is Lennox Smith is saying? Our Bush lawyer in making his case, which is a good one though. But at the end of the day, many evidence point at many politicians. That is how it is on the streets, Lennox Smith. And everybody
you feel like you feel like why am I saying that it is a novelty? It is a unique case. It never happened before. That is what I said. That the evidence is so overwhelming. Never happened before. You check any situation. Even Pandey own was concocted. This is real. They in fact did these things, and they are documentary as well. A documentary in both in terms of media records and in terms of even if they try to scuttle some of the documentation, the paper trail. In other words, when they leave in office.
But the man also said that the courts in Trinidad and Tobago, they take long. Just a simple cases, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, all kind of bacchanal. It has reached 10 years, 15 years.
I accept that.
And what's it, you have money.
I accept
so
that.
a man will die before he can even get punished. Like for instance, Malcolm Jones, where are he? He done dead. He done dead, and he was a big board of a director. The man in charge that really and truly mash up Petrotrin, have Petrotrin in the minus. One of the main situations in why Petrotrin is closed today, besides the AV drilling oil. And look, them do all of that, and a man still turn around, get back his company, get back his drilling block. They say he start back to drill plenty more and get money too.
Yeah, and get money too.
All right. And you say, man, let me look up. Let me go to the lines now.
Yes, I'm saying on this occasion. On this occasion, yes.
I until I see that, I not going and say that because
obviously,
all my life I see politicians always get away.
There's never been one like Rowley that is so blatant and bold-faced.
All right, let me go to let me go to the line. While I'm waiting for the calls, let me play some voice notes. Boy, you go yes, you seeing that they go get locked up. First, you have to see the election win. It had $10 million.
Yes, of course, that is fundamental. So I'm talking as that as a given.
If they win the election based on on a fair basis, Trinidad and Tobago, I'm saying the UNC Kamala Prasad Bisasa are going to win the next general election. But just what he talking about that it is so blaring. It is unique. Have never been done before. And them brothers and them know it is so glaring, so unique, never done before. Them brothers and them knows that. They know that.
The population for fools that they will still vote them even though these facts are
You make your case, you know, I making mine. I supporting the brother. It is so unique and all them things. Them go make a jail and them will have that treasury, that type of power. 10 million is just what they tell we. EBC getting for new election system machinery, bacchanal thing. Eh? You really feel them going to allow, and I'm going to talk it out the streets, they say it, them Indian and them to get in power, to lock them up? Aye, aye, aye.
At the end of the
EBC. Let me go to the lines.
At the end of the day, it's the people, the electorate will determine that.
Lennox Smith, until we see that, I telling you, I support that gentleman and what it is he said.
I hear you.
Morning caller. Where you calling from? And what's your contribution on the #1 program, the Ground Report this morning? Good morning to you.
Andy Williams.
Hey,
Andy Williams.
Mr. Wall Street, sir. A pleasant good morning to you.
My TK and Lennox Smith, a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning to you as well, my friend.
Andy, where my TK?
You'll be in about the next 7 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. I tired tell my TK in morning, don't go and stay in the bathroom so long, and I tired tell him when you go and take a pill. But Andy, I'm listening to what's going on in my beautiful country of Trinidad and Tobago. You know, and I noticed that the Minister of Energy, Stuart Young, disrespected the UNC political leader, Mr. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and another female. But you know, Andy, there's a hit with Stuart Young, you know. During the PNM internal election, twice Stuart Young stood on a platform and called black PNM members Pottongs and Tims. Andy Williams and Lennox Smith, I have said over and over, a fish doesn't rotten from the tail. When the leader is calling women all kind of names, what can you expect from other people under him? So I believe that the right thing for Prime Minister Rowley to do is to either ask Stuart Young for his resignation, or if he doesn't, he should fire Stuart Young. And here is why, Andy and Lennox. You know, Laura Luzama Leasing had a problem with her husband.
Oh, yeah.
And Prime Minister Rowley.
Morality came in. Go ahead, Wall Street. Morality came in at the cut she throat. Wow, go ahead.
He fired the black woman. He fired the black woman, Laura Luzama Leasing. And she didn't get a day in court. She didn't even get a day in court. She wasn't on no mic or anything, right? She didn't get a day in court. But Prime Minister Rowley, who have called himself the blackest man in Trinidad and Tobago, his words, not mine, he fired the black woman forthwith. But Stuart Young, right, who was so disrespectful to women, not one word from Prime Minister Rowley. So I am asking Prime Minister Rowley, what it is about it that a black woman you could fire and a man from a different ethnicity, you are sitting down there and not one word. Is that fair? Or is that just the modus operandi of the RPNM? You know, and it's kind of sad, you know. It's kind of sad, because they just want to say all kind of things. But and Andy, but listen to this, the opposition leader told people in the UNC, a yellow body told me this, the opposition leader told people in the UNC, she doesn't want them to say anything disrespectful with respect to Laura Luzama Leasing. Can you imagine that? The UNC political leader, you know, she defended, right, Laura Luzama Leasing, right? And the PNM Women's League didn't even come out and say, no, Prime Minister Rowley, you cannot fire Laura Luzama Leasing. Not one word from them. And Andy, you know, who is the secretary of that, right? I think she's on the Mugabe station. Some she'll be on a morning program. I can't remember she name. But not one word from them.
Karen Felix.
Yeah. I see. I think she's. Yeah.
She was up on the program yesterday. Yep.
She, oh God, she looking for some facts. But let me close, Andy. Let me close there. So I am calling on the Women's League, which Stuart, PNM Women's League, which Stuart Young was a keynote speaker. I am calling for them to tell the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, you either have to ask for Stuart Young resignation or you have to fire him, just like how you fire Laura Lizama Lissing. Andy, Lennox Smith, and as soon as Mighty.
And as you say, she did not have a day in court. She never had a day in court, really.
Never had a day in court. Never had. So you all have a
Someone is innocent until proven guilty.
Correct, it's right.
All right. Thank you so much, my brother. Lennox Smith, what's your thoughts on what it is?
I wouldn't go as far as to I wouldn't go as far as to ignite or to add to the flame of the racial differential. However, I accept his argument with respect, of course, to the equality of the infringement. The infringement, one to the other, no difference, and therefore there should be equal treatment. So from that perspective, I say that yes, I agree that he should fire or ask him to resign, because there's no difference between what he did and that of Lizama, and ostensibly the reason for asking for her resignation as a senator on the PNM bench. But I will stay clear of the ethnic part of it.
Okay. Morning, caller.
Andy for Andy and Grandy for Andy. And that is why we want foreign observers for the 2025 general election. Uncle Lennox, Mikey, Andy, all the technical staff. Uncle Lennox.
Hey.
Now, the nice thing about it, right? I want to ask two questions. And my front burner is, right? This is a front burner topic. Because I see Stuart talking what is in the mind and how the structure, right? You see the kind of vulgarness the leader have. He tripped and fall on top of school girl in the early days, right? And just imagine who is the head of the Women's League at the PNM, right? See the kind of baggage and put in. They take money from the state, right? The state have a child, to claim a child from she, right? And you see the discuss in the PNM structure and the kind of support, have I in fugitive, have I in wrongdoing, right? But my friend brother is, just imagine Venezuela company contract Shell, right? Get a contractor, a company to do the geographic seismic survey for the gas line from the Dragon to the Ibiscus platform, with the sanction. Shell had 50 years license. Shell wide license. People are talking about what is being real position on that deal. Yeah, they don't Stuart Young and Rowley care about. And people are talking about who took words. The patrimony is going away, and the thief in it is plain to see. The thief, the money is building by the house, and the big building that he said, nobody can give a account for it. How Rowley can manage a $5 billion in debt in a party, and he can manage a simple economy with money flowing? Yeah? And they're giving away money. They should tell African people in a certain racist how to structure the PNM. Anytime they talk about the PNM, is a racist. Because they know African people don't want to let people themselves. They're who running the like I don't get a fly. When I see in some places, and then the corner of the voice that you're obsessed with a building. Well, give the accountability. When you see, Shell going and Rodney, they paying for it. Still mash up NGL. People lost money. They give out all the money and they put it in their pocket. You think what can I see that? Where she could put? $1 billion for the government. Who bought a shopping mall? Who bought a high-rise building? Straight on it. When I understand them, and then the real issue, stick it on two stupid things what I say in Parliament. They will talk about budget, only budget of millions of dollars. The Finance Committee, they're not coming for a version, and yet still give them a food can. Food can, and tell them run behind the truck. If they want their right to this thing, I know they complain it with Guyana and the see what Guyana do, and do it for the people. 5 years, and this coming up as services, we had a kind of, we was enjoying it here. They talk facts. What government do was, I mean, the gas sector, Rowdy and Shuttle Girl, the runoff and the benefit of the UNC money, they're still enjoying. The teachers, police, want to have a overtime. You get 4% on a side for it, and yet still you telling me you're employed. So if nobody wants to stand up for the police and them and say yes, let me lobby for the police because they can't strike and they can't ask for nothing, then you see they have the welfare association. They ended up on senators and in board. Check the affirmative. There was ministers in labor. Only workers on them. And there was EDP and there was labor minister. Check Anthony Garcia. When they will understand, to know that the really people, really citizens, knowing that price going up, it's Christmas time, no employment, and $2 on a vote for, they're paid for vote, and since then, morning time, they want to buy jet and all kind of crazy high life, see where the money going, and in there now, because they know why they can talk licenses, they have the money, and they get away with it, and they go spend, and they actually care for them now. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. I know joining us in a little bit will be none other than Michael Cool. Well, I'm welcome of those of you that are looking to us and Guile the Caribbean. Again, thanks so much for looking on to Guile the Caribbean and being a part of the #1 program on television in Trinidad and Tobago between the hours of 8 and 10, The Ground Report. I'm yours truly, Andy Williams, the Pitbull. In video there, you see Lennox Smith, the big word man. And the picture there, which you'll see in a little bit, is none other than Mikey K, the Mighty K. So again, for those of you that are viewing us throughout the Caribbean, whether it be Guyana, and yesterday, thanks so much, Guyana, for taking part of the program yesterday and giving your say, or having your say. So each and every one of you can have your say. Just call us or send a WhatsApp message to us or make a WhatsApp call to us or voice note. But make sure if you're out here, put on 1868 225 6644, 225 6644, or 239 5120, 239 5120, or yes, WhatsApp us at 366 3053, 366 3053. So good morning to each and every one of you again, once again, for being a part of the Ground Report program this morning. Oh boy, Channel Big, the lines are open. Oh boy, morning caller. Where you calling from? What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
Good morning.
Yeah, Andy, good morning, Felix.
Go ahead, Felix.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, good morning.
Lennox, what McDonald and the Caliber Foundation and the center, one. What about the church and was building in Iguana Pope? That Balize house will end up there like that church. None of them will be able to stay in that. Huh?
So that means you agree with the gentleman. I wish if that gentleman call back and show that point again. You know? If that was only a voice that I played for everybody here. So you agree with the gentleman that politicians don't get locked up. Even if it is change of government, you're not seeing no politician getting locked up because the judiciary and all this takes so long. It could be 10 years, 15 years. Men got dead before they could even get locked up. You know, the man is saying to men covers their tracks. At the end of the day, they won't just say, Lennox said this is new and all those things. So do you agree? So you agree, fella, that politicians will get locked up?
Especially in Trinidad, all around and them fellas and them Francis Privat, all them fellas and them. Even Eric William and all of them cover the track. We have, we know that in modern times they have things, well, according to Lennox, where we could go and get justice, right? But justice will take a while, but it's sure to come, especially the kind of that trap this man be preaching to us and telling we lies and all kind of thing. Remember, when you're lying, you're far away from God, you're far away from the citizen, and you're robbing the citizen. That is a sin to the highest level. You understand that? Lennox?
Hey, I hear you. No, I agree with you that you have taken a middle road. On the one hand, you made the reference with, of course, Marlene McDonald, and she was prosecuted. And I'm saying now that too was an anomaly. That was a strange occurrence. That was a unique occurrence. Why? Because the evidence was so lucid, so clear, so you can't escape. It's the same thing with Rowley now. Rowley is in a position where he cannot escape because of the paper trail, and whether they try to cover up or scuttle or shred the evidence, there are other supportive evidence that he cannot escape. Take for instance, why you think he will not, of course, challenge me with respect to me calling him for all these years a rapist and a pedophile? Why? Because he cannot go to the birth paper office and adjust and take away the birth paper and, of course, amend the date of birth on the birth paper. He can't do it. Cannot happen. So the evidence is so pellucid that they will not take that chance. Even his lawyers and all is covering up for him and saying that, of course, when I say that the child was a school child, they are saying that the child was out of school and somehow suggesting that because the child was out of school, is not a school child, and as a result, he cannot be culpable for rape. I mean, come on. The evidence is clear. Go ahead, my friend. Just as in Marlene McDonald.
All right, let me take this next call, morning caller. We're calling from. Welcome to the Ground Report. What's your contribution this morning?
Morning. It's only in Trinidad politicians will get locked up. You look all over the world. In Pakistan, Imran Khan got locked up twice for fraud. In Sri Lanka, the president got locked up. In the Middle East, how much can get locked up? But it's only in Trinidad, politicians don't get locked up. You know why? Because they're all in the same boat. You know? And if
So, Mr. Ramaran, you agree with the fella that call and state that with all what going on, all this glaring thing that the politicians in Trinidad that they're not going to get locked up, and then we have a court system that go and drag it for 15, 20 years, they go dead before any jail, and that he's stating that at the end of the day, all politicians is the same and politicians would not get locked up in Trinidad and Tobago?
president gets locked up. It's only in Trinidad that's happening. You know why? Because I know they had a judiciary in the pocket, or if they had a police force in the pocket, that nobody is going again to take action. But in other parts of the world, you look and read it, you know, that politicians get locked up, prime minister get locked up, president.
Go ahead, talk, listen to the phone, not the gadget. We hear you loud and clear.
Well, unless they don't start to lock up these people, things wouldn't change it for that.
Right, but let me add something. Mr. Ramaran, you really think right? As Lennox said, this is a new circumstance like how Marlene McDonald was, which she just get charged, but remember she died before it could even have a case or however. You believe that Dr. Rowley and them knowing it's a new situation, it is over-glaring, it have enough evidence, as Lennox Smith mentioned. You believe that them will allow, because I just saying it how the streets, they say it, them Indian to win the election, to get in power, to lock them up, having access to a whole treasury, having access to the president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, that is a PNM, having a police commissioner, the DPP, every independent institution under the wing, even having the EBC, which, as Mikey K continue to say, $10 million for a new electronic voting system, management system, or however it go. You really think them know that it's so glaring that them gonna, under fairness, I believe, Kamala Prasad and the UNC will win the next general election. If it's fair play, but it's not going to have that. The EBC. Let me hear what is your thoughts on that.
You know?
Okay, Mr. Ramrine.
Really want change, they want to live better, they will make the change. You know, regardless of what Rowley and his government do, they will make the change. You know? And that is the thing about it. Unless government come in and take action against these politicians, things not going to change. These people spend money like every money is their own.
All right, Mr. Ramnarine, thanks so much. Yeah.
You know?
Oh. Okay, thank you. Next caller, pleasant good morning to you, caller. Where are you calling from and what's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Andy morning, Lennox.
Yes.
I agree with what Lennox saying, that it never happened like how it is happening now. In that the evidence is glaring. The evidence is glaring, and there's hardly any room for cover up. And after that, I want to condemn, as a pundit from Las Lomas, I want to condemn that incident with Stuart Young and Imbut. And I agree with the last caller that Imbut should hold equal responsibility as a long-standing politician. He should know better. But that shows the character of these men. I remember glaringly one occasion in 2010 when Kamala won the election. 3 weeks into the government, there was a meeting held at MTS. I was there at that meeting presently, and this will support what Andy is saying. I was present there, and a minister from the UNC government was invited to that meeting, and the CEO of that company was a diehard PNM. He was a diehard PNM, and when the minister was addressing us, the first thing he said, he said, well, you know, the CEO, I wouldn't call his name, the CEO is my friend, and he would be allowed to continue. So you see, when they go into this government, the new government takeover, They say, well, thanks very much for giving us the government, and all they could continue doing all they're doing. And from there on, like the CEO get a little permission, a little power now to continue doing what he was doing during the PNM tenure. And he continued and he did it more and more and more and more. Suffer the officers, never give them back pay. Look, up to now, we ain't get no back pay. From 2013, the last back pay we get was under Kamala. And up, look, now it's 2024. Not a cent. This short man are giving nobody nothing. Not a cent. So what you're saying, Andy, I agree with you. When they go into that government place, they're going to look at the people who was in power and they will say, well, you know, thanks for giving us the government and, you know, all you continue. Go ahead, continue sitting there. Which it should be opposite. It should be opposite. As you reach in there, you say, well, here happening. You had enough. Time to move. Time to pick up your bag and time to move.
So, Mr. Pundit, you are saying that, so you technically agree with the gentleman earlier on contribution where he's saying is, at the end of the day, in Trinidad and Tobago, politicians don't get locked up for corruption.
I agree. Nobody. Who does get locked up? Who?
So you're not seeing, even if UNC will win the election, as long as a free and fair elections. But we know, especially with Mikey K, is the first person keeps singing it. The voting machine and the $10 million to EBC. And remember, it's about history where everything Rowley told the EBC do. I don't 3 seats, they do it. Give me an hour more, they do it. He have control over the EBC. It's blatant. You think
nobody?
So you believe
nobody?
So you believe when Kamala them come in power, let me see fair play, the win, that them would not lock up Rowley them, or Rowley them would make a jail, and they wouldn't ensure that Rowley them make a jail.
They would not ensure that. If Kamala come into government and she hire a certain amount of lawyers to go towards that, towards these wrong things that Rowley and them doing now, we could have a chance. But 90% of the time, Andy, it would not be like that. Because I am not saying anything bad about anyone. When UNC get in, they're going to say, well, thanks very much for giving us the opportunity, the thing, and they would start up concentrate on what they have to do to be in government, and all these things they would forget behind their back. All these things that these, don't mind it is glaring, you know, Lennox. I agree with Lennox. First time, it is really glaring. It is really glaring, and they have evidence. They have evidence to take these fellas and them to task. But 90% of the time, Andy, Rowley riding out on a silver horse, and he go on his way. His daughter business fix, his wife business fix, everybody business, and them go on their way. Kamala and them will have to see. So we having a case. We having a case.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Pundit. Thank you so much. Hey, this caller who ended up cutting him in there. Go ahead, caller. Because I had to welcome Mr. Michael Kerman. Go ahead, caller. Short and sweet.
Good morning. California in the house here. California, yes.
All right, California. Let's hear.
Good morning to all who listen to the broadcast around the world. Gael, one mainstream media. Andy, we had a problem in this country already like that with Pandey. And I had to say that Pandey is going to make a jail. When he was dealing with Dupre, Iskar Singh, and Carlos Chan, and Pandey did make a jail. He went to jail for a few days and that caused that government to collapse. Remember that? When Pandey was dealing with these men and whatever he was doing, and Mahad was warning him as the Attorney General, and Pandey take offense, and hence the reason why Kamala was born. But I want to go down that route. Now, we have an incident in Bangladesh with Sheikh Hasina, right? When she passes she budget and she favor a certain group of people in the budget, had an uprising, and that uprising went to the ousting of Sheikh Hasina from Bangladesh. Right now she hiding in India, and they want she in Bangladesh to go on trial for all this. In Pakistan, Imran Khan was charged for bribery. Right? And Pakistan's situation is different. Pakistan is run by the army. And when they hold Imran Khan and they get him to go to jail, they hit him 100 charges and more. And every time he get bail to come out, they give him an extra. So he in jail right now. Imran Khan, the Prime Minister. Right? And all the reason why, because he say that America have hand in overturning them election and causing a regime change. And because the Pakistan army is who is select, well, they say select, not elect, the Prime Minister, he in jail. We have Mr. Biden with all the evidence on his son laptop, Hunter laptop. And nobody can hold Biden because Biden had the CIA, the DOJ, right? The FBI here, all of them working for him. And all the evidence you're hearing people playing it, they hear all the dealing mechanic, and they can never hold Biden, right? So we have an incident in this world, what's going on. You understand? In Trinidad.
Short and sweet. Go ahead.
In Trinidad. If the right people go in government, right, and you apply the right pressure on Rowley and them, and you bring out the evidence, because you can't hold them and you can't send them to jail without evidence. And evidence will be on that and reality that they did. They can't hold them for what they might do. You have to hold them for what they do. And that's all I say. That building with the building, that PNM building is one evidence by itself. That Petro is a next one. Right? It have things. All the money from the country, we want to know where it's gone. Right? We have to get into all of them account. All these buildings that they're owning in Parliamentary, we want to know how they acquire it.
All right.
All the assets that they transfer and move out. We have to know, and they have to get the corruption is big there. I could tell you a little thing, but I don't want to go on air and tell you about it. Anyhow, yes, we could jail them if we had the right people. Thank you, Andy.
All right. Thank you very much. But remember, the pundits say that they will forget anyhow. They will forget this one and forget that one. But before this next caller, hold on a minute. Mikey, a pleasant good morning to you, my brother. As the people saying, you will always ask, well, what's going on? Well, you get to have an idea of what's going on. One caller called in and mentioned that politicians don't make a jail anyhow, that Rowley and none of them will make jail, and he stand up and everybody in the streets, they say the same thing, that politician, government will come, will even change. Yes, it may get run down, but no politician will make a jail. What's your thoughts on that? Lennox Smith say it's glaring, it's overglaring. This is unique. It seems now this is very, very unique now to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The evidence is glaring and all those various things. My thoughts on that is, again, the EBC in which it is, you keep saying, at the end of the day, on a fair basis, Kamala Salbi says them will win the elections, but really actually because of the intervention of Rowley and them again with the EBC, that is really not a sure thing, having the PNM president and PNM president and all these independent institutions thing. And my position also is, I support the pundit and all these people that politicians don't make jail. And I not seen Rowley making jail, because if them it's so unique and it now happen, them go wait for, as the streets they say it, the PNM people say it, Rowley and them all they say, for them Indian to come in power to lock them up. Aye. Politicians don't make jail, Mikey. Go ahead, Mikey.
Yes, indeed. Well, I get the drift of it. Pleasant good morning to you, my brother Andy Pitbull Williams. Good morning to you, Lennox Smith. Good morning to our technical director. Yes, indeed. First of all, let me say, quite dapper, Lennox, quite dapper. I said, well, Faris Alwari on the ground report. No, going on here, boy. Check there, see my boy. Yes, indeed, Pastor Lennox Smith from the First Apostle Church in Maloney. There he is. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, Pastor. Yes, and of course, all the good folks here in Trinidad and Sister Al Tobago, and on Gala TV, our CARICOM brothers and sisters that are locked on, wherever you are, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, good morning to you. What's up, buddy? And of course, those in Barbados or wherever you are, your neck of the woods, North America, UK, good morning indeed. Well, I get the drift of it, and I want people to understand something. I think I mentioned it yesterday, that thieves don't rob empty warehouses, they don't rob empty vaults. When somebody invests so much in bringing you down, it means that you have value. You are deemed a threat to them. Why is Kamla Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC government in waiting such a threat to Dr. Rowley? Now I understand what people are saying, hey, politicians don't get locked up. Well, right. They don't get locked up here. And this network, and I think Lennox Smith is basically trying to touch on that. This is a different operation. This is not your Eric Williams, all a wee thief operation. This is a different operation. There are key people who were brought in. Others were overlooked. They were promoted. They came up that entire Balize ladder quicker than anybody else, right? Because of what they brought to the table. And perhaps what they brought to the table is a special skills, the expertise of getting money from one place to the next. Perhaps one of them had family members who have quite a history in the banking industry. And so that individual is an asset. Everybody else in the PNM who complaining that they work in the trenches, that's neither here nor there, but that's a different story. But you have to understand Malta. You have to understand Australia. The fear here is not for Rowley and these fellas to deal with Kamala and them here. The threat here is the information that is going to be shared with foreign authorities based on the network that these individuals have set up. That's what it's all about. There are countries that are going to be requesting them because the law was broken there. The oil had to go somewhere. Who you sold it to? Those documents have to be forwarded to those relevant individuals, the relevant authorities. All right? People came, they landed here right in the middle of a pandemic, a global pandemic, and you accommodated them. What did they bring? All of that has to be shared, perhaps with our good friends in North America. So when people go around bumping the gum, say that Kamala and them, Kamala and them ain't not to lock up nobody. There will be more than enough evidence for these foreign bodies to get involved in. That's it. If there was no threat, Rowley could have simply walked away, but he realized he can't go nowhere as much as he wants to talk and test waters and play mind games. He can't go nowhere. He can't afford to leave that vacuum in the PNM. Are you mad? He can't. They have to cover their tracks. Their fear is not here with the local authorities. It's what the foreign authorities are going to request. They may have some essence of immunity because they're still in office. And so if one attorney general from one country reaches out, there's somebody there to block on their behalf. But when that blocking isn't there, it has to be direct. And I don't think you want to see the outcome, especially if you're a PNM party holder, because the kind of shame and disgrace and embarrassment when you start to hear where money went and who gave money and how it was transferred, because any transfer on this part of the region had to touch down in Manhattan. So then you're talking about the Department of Justice. That's right. Every transfer had to touch down in Manhattan. That, as you know, is the financial capital of America. So stop talking about what Kamala and them have, what they have, and they have to hand it over. We need to make sure that we enforce that with them. We can't call on them. They're not the police. It is the police job. But we have to call on them to share the information where these crimes were allegedly committed. And let's start to connect the dots. That's it.
And the person say politicians will get locked up. So you're saying that Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and her new government will share the information to make justice take its course.
They have to. Crimes were committed. They have to. But you're going into waters there of geopolitics.
You have to share. We don't have a bad relationship with Australia. I don't know what is our status with Malta. Because remember they said the vessels were bought in Australia. Australia had some storm. They had days of flooding. The same boy with the foul mouth in the parliament jump up and say, that is not going to affect the delivery of the vessels. Well, of course not, because the vessels in Vietnam. The vessels was in Vietnam, so we're talking about. But the paperwork is in Australia. I'm sure the Australian officials want that paperwork. And that is what Kamala and them have to provide. That is what the new Attorney General will have to share. It's not here they're afraid, you know. They can manipulate here. They could perhaps, that's why they're forcing the CCJ. They could, but they can't manipulate outside this jurisdiction. They could jump high, they could jump low, they could flip, dip, and skip. They cannot maneuver the international authorities. And that's what they're afraid of.
Okay. Lennox, you had opening lines, but I want to indulge you because I've seen what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yes. Remember, we live on Gaia, eh? So what is your indulgence and what Mikey says?
My initial position was focusing...
Wait now, ma'am. Hold 1 minute again, ma'am. Just get Lennox a minute there, please.
I'll be
Go
brief.
ahead.
I'll be brief. My initial position was focusing on the local, which of course resonates with, of course, the evidential potency that is unique to the Rowley administration, and therefore that in itself reflects what Mikey is saying, that even to the international authorities, that paper trail is so blatant. And as he mentioned that, what about the Cabo Star and the Galleon Passage, and of course the other boat that was sent back? All of those transactions are so glaring, are so evident that it is very difficult for them to exculpate themselves, extricate themselves from the inevitable, let's say, prosecutions that will take place. And just to conclude quickly, that in the case of Kamala and let's say the Rowley administration, yes, the government changed. But what we have seen over the last 9 years is that they concocted the evidence with respect to Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her administration between 2010 and 2015, and where there might have been some infringement, they cannot provide the legal or the requirements of the court in terms of probative evidence to, of course, secure a conviction. But in the case of Rowley, everything is the reverse. It is clear. The action is there. The public outcry and records are there. Even if they try to, as I say, scuttle or try to destroy the paper trail, they cannot. Yeah, that is the big difference between this administration, the Manning administration, the Kamala Persad administration, and of course even the Eric Williams administration. The paper trail and the actions are clear.
And to make a long story short, you are saying Rowley them, and as Mikey say, will make a jail.
Will make a jail.
That they will make a jail.
It's obvious.
Right, let's clear the
their
point.
asses are grasses.
Okay, they as grasses.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mother Pleasant. Good morning. Go ahead, Miss Brown.
And by extension, our Gael family, and all on the live stream. Indeed, I am old school, and protocol dictates whenever someone is given a heartfelt apology, the person's name, his or her name is mentioned when apologies is given. That was no apology. We have to continue being vigilant. He only said something because he was caught on open mic. Moving on. And that's my opinion. Moving on. Let me take the time this morning to thank all the men and women, and Imam Kazim, who called in and gave continuous support for our leader, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Her track record speaks for itself. She delivers for all people and will do so again when we, the people, ensure that she is returned to office. I am UNCN proud, one party, one leader. We want to live better. Good day, gentlemen. Blessed day.
Thank you so much, Miss Ann Brown. Let's get the next caller. Morning, caller. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Andy?
Yes,
Andy,
yes.
are you speaking with me now?
Yep.
Okay, good morning, Andy, Mikey, Lennox, and everybody. Ann Brown, well said. And I totally agree with you. He has to refer to Mrs. Prasabi as saying that apology. Now, Mikey, I give you a standing ovation. You have been smiling from ear to ear because that is exactly what I've been holding on as well to say, right? Now, while I respect the pundit's opinion, I beg to differ to say that Kamala and them would be so busy taking up with their seat about the country, they would not be charging them or whatever. And as Mikey rightly said, Kamala and them can't charge anybody. This is what we keep telling everybody. That is the job of the police and the DPP. And we all know they are PNM party groups number 1 and number 2, right? And I'll give you perfect examples. Up with Malcolm Jones, didn't the Kamala government, right, brought charges against Malcolm Jones? Who threw it out? It was the PNM government that threw it out because it was going forward with Malcolm Jones. Anand Ram Logan, as Attorney General, was going to reopen the case against Marlene McDonald in Lake Asphalt and a certain lawyer. And I strongly believe that is when they colluded with this man, David West, and I think Gary Griffith was involved in it, and whatever, and nothing out of that. But he said that they were going to reopen the case against Malima and the corruption that was going on in Lake Asphalt. So to say that Kamala and them would not do anything, and Anand Ram Logan was also going to reopen the case in Landate, right? What took place there in Landate? The stealing of the materials from the Scarborough Hospital. Because all who want to say Keith Rowley was exonerated, he was not. He was not. The only exoneration he got was from the courts because of the Integrity Commission investigated him and they didn't inform him. That is what he got away from, right? But as to the Landate, it is still sitting on the DPP desk, right? The Sealy report say that something onto us went on there and somebody should be charged. So to say that Kamala wouldn't do anything, and she kept making these promises, and she is going to keep her promise. She is going to investigate Balize House. She's going to investigate the COVID money. She's going to do a whole lot of investigation. And how Stuart Young brother became a banking billionaire. She's going to investigate that as well. Right? Because they're seeing about everybody. And I think the top of the list that she mentioned was this witness tampering with Forrest and Vincent Nelson and everybody, all who were involved in it in the Attorney General, right, in the Attorney General's office. So we have to roll and pray that they get there to investigate all these things. Because it was not just, it should not have been just a transfer with Forrest from one ministry to the next. No, Forrest should have been dismissed and Forrest should have been charged for witness tampering along with those other people. And she's also going to investigate the perjury charges against the now sitting Attorney General. She has her hands full, and she's going to put people there. She's going to put them there that will do all these investigations, right? So to say that they're going to leave it so, no, they are not going to leave it so, right? Another thing I'd just like to touch on.
Thing, so do you believe, before I go to the next thing, so do you believe what the people out there in the streets are saying, though? Because the people in the streets are saying politicians don't get locked up and nothing ain't going to come out of it.
They don't. Andy, they don't get locked up because of the people in charge. And I said it at the beginning of my comment. The police and the DPP who are supposed to be charging these PNMites, they are PNM party group members. They are not good. Andy, look at how long Camille investigation going on. What's the status of that? What's the status of that? Look how long the investigation going on with Foster Cummings. And they are head people in the PNM. Right? They are not, they're not going to charge them. That is why we need a new government to go in there and charge them. Because it was clearly stated, Camille did not state her source of income. She did not. And why up to now how many years Camille has not been charged? And it's not because of lack of you know, they don't want to do it to anything. They are putting it out there, and I made a reference to it, Malcolm Jones. They charged Malcolm Jones, and Farris and them throw the case as soon as they came in. Right? But it's for us now. It's this Kamala government coming in there, right? Well, she's going to try. She's going to try to do something about it. But as I said, once we have these people there, what is going to be the outcome of it? What is going to be the outcome? But something has to be done. We cannot allow these people to be getting away with thieving all the country's money. Imagine you pay $10 million for a man to lie on 2 attorneys and nothing came out of that. Look at what he did also with the cars. All of that Kamala have on the list. All of that I'm telling you. Because she keeps saying it every time they get on the platform there. They keep saying it what they're going to do. And my next brother, I want to Roberts. It is distasteful, it is disgusting, and it is vulgar to sit on the riverbank and part of the river. You have to sit down in a UNC control as part of a UNC and keep talking the UNC. Have you no shame? No shame whatsoever. Barry Padarat on a platform addressed the disrespect. Anita Hines, whatever she name is, Haynes, talk about Mrs. Prasad Bissessor, right? She got into Parliament now and decided to reciprocate and talk about Barry's bullying, and he's a bully. You decide now to come out and talk about who have allegations. I find if you're a man, right, somebody who wants to see this country going good, go to the DPP and tell them, look, I have evidence against these people in the UNC and I want it at them. And I bet you it's your fancy DPP pick up himself and judge them. But stop coming and making TikTok videos, right, and cussing as person on people. And I want to tell also, Dinesh Rambali, that so-called pundit, imagine you took the zombie whisperer to enter a temple to lecture to these people. You took that man who have no respect for women, neither you, because you, in the month of Navratri, you were disrespecting Mrs. Prasad Bissessor, and you took that man to go into a temple, right, to lecture to people. Oh, Lord, you have no shame. They're quite telling you. Andy, thanks a lot for giving me this time, and take care and have a good morning.
All right. Thank you very much. And read what S. is saying there and tell me what it is he mean. Next caller. Morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Yeah, Andy, we are calling back again, right? Now, I want to give you another scenario why they wouldn't get locked up.
Okay, let's
Remember between 2010 and 2015, the PNM was saying the UNC was full of corruption, right? When they came in, most of the contractors, they said they were going to investigate and they fired all the contractors. Who are the contractors today? Not the same one who they say was going to get rid of, right? So let's see the scenario. We're going into a meeting with these contractors, right? Hey, fellas, we have this evidence against all for thieving, right? But here's what's going on. We need to analyze how it's built, right? We set little tickets. So whatever buy these tickets, and you all will get that contract, right? So going and say, now remember, these things, what people saying that is PNM corruption and PNM, these things go way back, eh? All these things way back before 2010. What happened in 2015, 2010, there was always corruption in Trinidad and Tobago, from licensing office, from any office you go, you always have transaction, and there are people working there from the two parties. You see, once money is involved, people don't care. Once, and people them could win, and I say they will do this. But then I say, I win, I see. And I say, boy, I can make, I mean, I'm going innocent, you know, I have, why going innocent? When you see something with my family, I can handle this with my family, you know, boy. I think things will come your way because there's money involved. You have to be real good in your mind and your heart to say, hey, I don't want no part of this. And the time you say you don't want no part of it, you will get put out of the party. Because why the other people doing it and they're getting away with it. Everybody's involved. And Mikey can say, yeah, we will take it as Australia, we will take it as. All these people are corrupted. Corruption is always, yes, some of them will fall through the cracks because why?
who are supposed to get handled ain't get handled. And this is the way the world is run. We don't have to go to get money to the World Bank, to IMF. All these things are run by big criminals, big mafias. People fail to realize that. So no matter what people say, oh, this 1 or 2 will get locked up, for them to say, all right, it's looking good. 1 or 2 will chance because why? This one was supposed to pay off this one and he get money, so he go in and squeeze. And that's how the thing does go.
Yeah, but you move from saying that you're not seeing any one of the PNM politicians getting locked up to 1 or 2.
Get charged, get charged, and it's some minor stuff. It's not no big, no $1 million, no $100 million thing fast. We're talking about minor stuff. Look, this man, he gets charged for what in the UNC? For some tax for staff. We're talking about minor stuff. We're not talking about major $100 million and $500 billion thieving.
So you're saying that big money thieving people would not get locked up?
Because it will go way back. Because that's one man squeal. All will come out of it. One man. So you're talking about, all right, you are not a contractor anymore. You go to contractor A, right? And all right, problems with he. He go in and say, well, I do this too for them. And you remember the other party don't want that neither. So they will keep quiet and say, here what, let me go. You come back again, you will get through it again, and everything will just be wrong because why? They passing, and that's what the world going around. Money. So that's why politicians still get locked up. Look in the states and think, who is mayor and governor? Is multi-millionaires and they still want more. The president is a multi-millionaire and they still want more. Governor, the time of poor man is go up for seat and things. So in the states, you know, it's big billionaires and then let's go up for them seat and things. No poor man. So when the 1% seeing that, all right, if this one coming out, I'm not going and squeal and this going on. No, they're not going and hamper their money. And these people fund both parties. You feel one thing going on invest one because why they do? Sometimes you're not sure who going and win. So you will put money here, you will put money there. So whoever in party, you profit in. Them big contractors and them don't care who win because at the end of the day, they put money into your party and your party, whether A party win or B party win, they get the contract. Because why? I am the biggest contractor. And I will just continue getting money and I will continue financing you. And so nobody will win. Nobody.
All right. So to make a long story short, so we will take some other calls. You are saying, well, the talk was when the PNM was coming in power. Rowley them was saying, well, hey, these contractors are corrupt. These contractors do this. These contractors, hey, people go get locked up. And now Rowley them is using the same exact contractors that he said that was corrupted. That they are in bed with them now. And they're saying you will see the same thing with a change of government. You'll see these same contractors will be in bed with the new government too. That's what you say, right? Huh?
And we call it big contractor, everybody, junior family, right? This is a big contractor in Sri Lanka. He's a multi-billion-dollar contractor, even in Guyana and these places. This man is a multi-billion-dollar contractor. We don't have the machinery in the Caribbean more than this man. So whether it's Kamala, whether it's PNM, he will get contracts. So he can afford to say, what, you hold a piece of money, you hold a piece of money, and money will continue to flow. Right? And that's how it is going. It's going a circle. And these fellas eating, these women eating, and so it will go. So that's why I say nobody will get locked up because the bigger heads have plenty to lose, and they're not going to let that happen no matter who in power, they're not going to let that happen. So as Mikey says, with the Senate, they have big lawyers who did contracts with the boat and all them kind of things. So you see them big contract going on, them big people who buy boats and all that thing going on with Eddie peeps creature that come between them and the money. They're going on cover up and they're going on there. So no matter who in there, I tell you have to do something real fraudulent that's for them to hold it. But other than that, for me, as I say, I know. Then politicians, I guess, who going to get hold for anything, it's only going to keep speaking $100 visa and them kind of little nonsense. If that happens, I say, they get locked up for what? Not declaring a bank account. And we get locked up for not declaring a bank account. What fraud was in that? Big money, $2 million was in that bank account. And now see wife's bank account. Not even in his own. You see? It's minor miscule things, nothing big. Right, gentlemen? All I'm saying. People don't know how to come at the party, not stupidity inside of it. It's brilliant minds inside of it.
All right. Thank you so much, caller. All right. Before we organize and take a next call, let me engage my two hosts here. Who want to take it first? Here in the comments of the people, Mike, you mentioned paper trail. This, not the law here is out there afraid. You hear what the people mindset is. They're still saying politicians in Trinidad would not get locked up because if you go at the big boys, them big contractors. He's saying that the big contractors are in the two political parties. He's saying technically, or political directorates are holding on the boat, and this one could screen and that one. It will be too much. It's too big, and then everybody know those contractors are the financiers of the major political parties too. Right? Because how contractors operate, they give on this side so hide behind the lamppost. They give on this side so they hide behind the lamppost, and the talk still remaining that culture-wise, that politicians in Trinidad will never get locked up for corruption. 100 million, 5 billion, like for instance, 3 billion missing and nobody will be held accountable. Mikey, you first or Lennox?
No, I know Lennox wanted to weigh in on the issue. He wanted to expand on it. Go ahead, Lennox.
Again, let me be as specific as possible. My premise for saying that prison is inevitable is because there must be the presence of genuine political will. Let me explain genuine political will, meaning that there is no attempt at trying to fabricate evidence. And if you don't have the evidence, then you cannot prosecute. In the case of those contractors you refer to, obviously it wouldn't happen because the contractor will have to come and say, yes, I was given a bribe, and he wouldn't go and say that. So that is not the kind of case I expect it to go forward.
Mikey's smiling when you say that. I see Mikey's smile.
Right.
Go ahead, Lennox.
Secondly, the evidence must be objective evidence. In other words, it could stand alone without any witness. Let me give you two examples to advance my case. In the case of Camille Robinson Regis, for example, it is clear that she deposited money in another bank. It is also clear that she said she got that money from another bank. When the investigation begins, that is why there is no political will here to advance it, because it is clear on itself she would be culpable, because the money that she says she take out from one bank, Republic Bank, was never taken out. But money, the same money she claiming was taken out, the sum that was deposited in another bank in Arima, in First Citizen Bank. So the paper trail and the evidence of itself is clear. Let us go to the second argument that I'm going to make now to make my case. Let's look at the emails. Coming out from the emails, it is clear that the obvious charge, whether Rowley presented that in the parliament or not, would have been one where conspiracy to murder. So I'm going to the highest level. It is clear that conspiracy to murder would have been a matter that ought to have come out of that exercise. Rowley come into government on the one hand. There was no political will to pursue that. And why wasn't it so? We had to say, why wasn't it so? In this case, it was a concocted piece of fabrication, a figment of Rowley's imagination that was later down the road, 3 years thereafter. The sitting commissioner of police said that it was somebody who concocted all of those pieces of paper. So you understand why I am saying that the evidence must be self-evident. It must be objective. And that in such circumstance, you can't escape. And I will apply the obvious case for culpability and for a case before the court, criminal, is the Vincent Nelson matter, is the one that I will say is most blatant. That is to say that here it is, Vincent Nelson went before the court, said certain things. That is clear. He didn't say that there was an agreement, that so-called indemnity agreement, right? The government, Rowley is saying that he don't know nothing about it after the fact. But before the fact, he was up and down the country saying that Vincent Nelson is helping the government as a state witness to put Kamala and they in jail. He was saying that. The evidence is so pellucid, is so inescapable, is so potent that when once you have the political will now to carry it forward in a court of law, it's sure jail. Let's not waste time with that. And they know that. Why you think of course they know that. Why you think the fighting, as you saying, you arguing that now, you Andy, that of course the EBC, etc., they'll try to of course utilize the treasury, etc., to engage in this what is called Otoku, where they will stay in office and try to utilize the resources of the country to stay in office. But of course, I am of the view that the factor that would have been left out there, and the microcosm of that is the Tobago scenario. I'm saying that you forget the people. If the people decide that this is nonsense, this is stupidness, we are going to go to the polls and vote out these people because the evidence is so clear. Rowley clearly, in the case of Tobago, went to the parliament, utilized his minuscule majority in order to to create 3 additional seats in order to get an unfair advantage. And I agree that the EBC would have been, of course, a conspirator or part of the conspiracy in going there and creating those 3 seats. But the people of Tobago said, not me, and that, and all of them came out, and the result now is history. I rest my case.
Okay, Mikey.
No, nothing to add there. Let's see who's on the outside. Well said, Lennox. Who's on the outside? Good morning once again.
Wow.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox.
Yes, indeed.
Nice. Oh, boy.
Give them the numbers, Andy. Give them the numbers, and of course, also give our Caricom brothers and sisters how to access us. Of course, country code here is 868. That's 1868. And we're going to give you the numbers now. Go right ahead.
Wow. Trinidad and Tobago, and for those of you that look onto us, Guyana, the Caribbean, throughout the Caribbean, and I'm going to say welcome to Guyana again and all the others. The numbers to call 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120, or give us a WhatsApp call, or send us a WhatsApp voice note at 366-3053, 366-3053. The conversation ended up this morning based on if politicians in Trinidad and Tobago will be locked up for corruption. And the view out there on the streets is it will never happen. But including other people, bringing other facts whereby it's technically stating that, way this is new, that, hey, the paper trail is there. And yes, for the first time, we go see politicians getting locked up for corruption in this country. That's what my word was being said. So what says God with you? Morning caller, where are you calling from? What's the contribution on the ground report?
Let me tell you something. Right? The paper trail, the money trail. Once you follow the money, how you think they catch you, Camille? Is the money trail? You understand? Withdrawal and deposit, she can't account for the money. It was never withdraw from no other bank. You understand? And deposit in the personal bank. They will show you the money trail. Once you follow the money trail, you can't hide that. Balize House, follow the money trail. Once you follow the money trail, the paper should be there, have to be there. Deposit money in a different country, you must see where it come from. If they follow the paper trail and they will the investigation go start, they will be exposed. You understand, my brother? Mr. Mike, you know what you're saying. You understand? The government can't lock up nobody, the ULC government can't lock up nobody, but the paper trail have other people will do it. The investigation will start. Remember, follow the money. Follow the money.
Thank you very much, caller. Follow the money. Follow the money. That's all we're hearing. Yeah, but yet still.
The caller is referring to objective evidence. Objective, independent evidence.
All right. Look, Rowley them say, Kamala them thief, the thief out the treasury, the fast government do this, they do that, however it go. How manage it? Well, they supposed to have paper trail. They supposed to have paper trail to follow it, whereby if what it is, there was a legend back then. If it happened to have any okra of truth, as Lennox Smith they say, well then how come none of the MPs or ministers back then under the Kamla Prasad BCSR government are before the court for corruption or receiving 10 million and 20 million and all those various things? So how come all now it still have ways and means for paper trail to Mikey K and Lennox Smith? Back then it had the same way with paper trail and it didn't follow and nobody make jail if what was alleged happened. So what make you feel that what is being alleged, but not being alleged, that it's blatant, that the government of Trinidad and Tobago are corrupt? They're corrupt. What make you feel the paper trail will have them get locked up? Well, Lennox Smith said
well, I think at the end of the day, listen, we first have to get them out of office so they can make their way to the jail cell. That's the first thing. I really don't want to put the cart here before the all right. Let's take it one step at a time. We have to save this country. The ABC cannot deprive us of all that we are talking about. We can't allow it to deprive us. We want to live better and live better, we must. And to do so, we must be committed and dedicated and laser focused to remove this rowdy PNM blight. It don't matter who they put at the helm, they still have some very nasty and unproductive ideals that has done nothing, especially for the Afro-Trinbagonian. So we first need to get them out, and then we start assigning cells.
But we cannot leave Andy.
Let me hear it quick.
Andy, we cannot leave your argument or your example in limbo. We must focus on it. And I'm saying the reason why Kamla Prasad Bisesa and they have not been brought to the court is because of those two elements that I indicated earlier that have not been satisfied. One, political will, and two, objective evidence. What it turned out to be is that there could not have been any political will simply because there is no objective evidence, meaning that the entire email incident was a concoction, was a figment of Rowley's and others' imagination, only to get into office. So therefore, it should turn out now that they should be charged for treason. But of course, the entire incident, they would say, was under parliamentary privilege, etc. But coming out of it, outside of it, there ought to be nothing stopping them from having, if they have the political will, and if they believe what they're saying was so, a conspiracy to murder. That is a charge, but that didn't happen. And it could not have happened because the entire thing was concocted. I am talking about real and objective standalone evidence. And that is where I want to put into or inculcate into people's head. And I gave the example of Camille Robinson wages. That is clear, without doubt. The one with Vincent Nelson, it is clear, without doubt. And I will go as far as to say the acquisition of the Cabosta and the other one, because we had, of course, Rowley saying that the Cabosta could have been had for, I think, 2,000 US less than what it is. He has all that evidence. He told Tobagonians one story about the acquisition of those boats. He said that the process was that the agency responsible for looking for those boats, are talking about the Port Authority, will of course say to the permanent secretary and or the minister of the Ministry of Works, listen, we have found a vessel. And then of course the permanent secretary and of course and conveyed by the minister will now take the matter to the cabinet. He said that in Tobago. In the Joint Select Committee now, he then said, listen, we didn't go to no cabinet. They tell me over a weekend that, listen, the boats and them are there. I told them proceed, and then I will go afterwards and get ratification of the from the cabinet. That is misbehavior in public office, is clear. That's a fundamental procedural breach.
Feeling as you're making myself to feel like people get locked up.
There are people who know, there are people who know and understand and have studied this entire scenario with this government. Jail is inevitable.
Right. Yeah, you know, who's on the outside, man? I know the people want to weigh in on this.
Yes.
Who's on the outside?
Wow. Only the numbers to call. Let me give you the numbers. Your turn now. What's your thoughts? You don't have to be on our front burner. You can be on your front burner. So what's on your front burner this morning? What's supposed to make news that not making news? What out there that you believe Trinidad and Tobagonians and the rest of the Caribbean supposed to know that they don't know? We await your call. 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120, or give us a WhatsApp call or send a WhatsApp voice note at 366-3053, 366-3053. Oh
Yes.
boy.
What, you have somebody on?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll read it out.
Hold up, where are you calling from? Yes, where are you calling from? Florida. Go ahead, Florida.
Go ahead, Florida.
I want to piggyback a little bit on Contractor a little bit. You see, Raleigh put up a defense to hire a president that's kangaroo, right? That's a shield, right? If any events come up like that, no, I'm not breaking bubbles now. I'm going to just tell you that. Any events come up like that where you're talking about Biden going to get locked up, this and that and the other, I'm not going to say he's not going to get locked up or something like that. He's going to be charged for something. He have the president.
Wow, you see what people out there they stink. Go ahead, Kenrick Prasad. The man have a PNM president there to pardon him too, you know. Go ahead. PNM president to sign off the EBC with these $10 million.
I am saying things that goes on here. They put people in place. See then, you are in your case, you are president. You pardon them in case something like that will come up, and it will come up. That when that happens, they're going to pardon them. But let me tell you something. Overseas business, like what Mikey is saying, they have nothing to do with that. That is something different. If they're doing corruption outside Trinidad and Tobago and putting money there, like as alleged, putting money here, putting money there, and they get to find out where they get that money from, and they have to give it a cut like they're buying a boat and stuff like that with corruption, that is a different story. I agree with Mikey with that. But inside of Trinidad and Tobago, their laws, the evidence is there, the kangaroo is there to shield them. And that's what's going to happen. I'm sorry, man, that's what it's going to be. All right?
Okay, thank you very much.
Right.
Wow. Next caller. Oh boy. Well, while it have no callers, let me play some voice notes. These voice notes, I haven't played them for a while. Yes, I have.
Yeah, because I wanna read out something, but go ahead after your voice notes. Go ahead.
Yes, man.
Lennox, according to you, don't get me blasted.
Next. Just watch your language. This is the Guyala Hour. As we always mention to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me peep and see what other voice notes. Oh boy.
Based on all what that fella saying there, that politicians don't get locked up, they wouldn't go to jail because all of them eating our food. So then the statement come, all of them is the same. Why Lennox is over talk to make a little point, but he want to throw the whole dictionary to make one point.
Oh God, that's the big word man, Papa. Don't get involved with the big word man.
After all these years, I mean, come on. That is Lennox, that is we Lennox. We understand that. Go ahead.
Right, but don't get frustrated with Lennox. You don't get frustrated like that with Rowley. At least you're learning new words, man. Let's go.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Mikey, Andy, Lennox, good morning. I just want to remind callers that when Kamala Prasad and the People's Partnership was in office, they gave a contract to OS and they also gave a contract to Vemco. So when you want to speak about contractors being in bed with the government, you must be mindful of these things as well. So morning again and thanks.
Okay, thanks for your contribution, sir. Next one.
Yes, Mikey, morning. Well said. You remember, you sent me back when you said, talk about Malta. Remember some years gone by, TCL had a strike and people were camping in front of the factory for years, not years, but for months, and they couldn't get the just due. Who do you think was the chairman of that? The man who said all must go, the petroleum issue. I forget the man's name, but right now he's living in Malta. I feel he's the man who tell Rowley and them, boy, don't take them people, because man, we had a call and a fight already for wages and all kind of thing for the TCL workers. Yeah. Mikey, only try to remember the man who said all must go.
Andy, good morning. One day I forget to mention or ask. All this thing that happened in Parliament with Stuart Young and Imbert against Kamala, where was the president? Where was Kangaloo? That she didn't open her mouth and say one single word. We all know she's a PNM. She's a PNM stooge. But again, she had a right as a woman to open her mouth and say something. You know? And she never said anything. So that alone to show how these people are. They're hypocritical. And she's a hypocrite to the highest degree.
Andy, good morning again to you and to everybody out there. Yes, caller, she gave a contract to OAS. She gave a contract to Junior Sammy. She gave a contract to Rohan Sinan and family, Calco. All the contractors that got contracts, that are getting contracts now under the PNM, Kamala give them contracts too. And she also gave to small contractors. Didn't Rowley give contracts to Alan Warner, his best friend? So what's your problem? What's the point? Everybody was benefiting under Kamala. But we see certain people, only certain people, benefiting under the PNMites.
The report, I want to ask a question. All this murder and shooting and killing, home invasion, and this allegation against the police kidnapping and killing people. Where is the president? Where? Nobody asking a question. One program report, they are writing letter. How come they write letter against the woman who say jump the fence and kill them? How all they are saying nothing, Lennox? So they write no letter? Guys all your own. Guys all your own. All they want to rock the boat. Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh boy.
Good morning, Andy, Lennox, Mikey, wrong report. Andy, the caller who gave his point earlier on is not saying the same thing that you are saying, you know. He is just spewing the normal, well-known PNM narrative, which is that all of them is the same, you know, so they don't worry about this politics thing, you know, because all of them is the same, and all of them does not last together, and all of them is friends, and they're not going to lock up each other. That's not what you are saying, neither what Lennox is saying. Lennox is right in the sense that there's extremely overwhelming evidence of crimes committed by this present PNM regime. You are also right in the sense that most likely nothing will be done about it. But the reason is it's not because UNC is friends with PNM. The reason is the entire justice system is PNM. The investigative bodies, the TTPS is PNM, the DPP is PNM, the entire judicial system is mostly PNM. Most of the judges, everything is mainly PNM. And the problem with UNC is Each time they are in office, they barely ever do house cleaning. They barely ever get rid of the PNM minions within the system. And that is why there always is always an uphill climb for the UNC, even while they're in office, because they have the entire PNM system fighting against them, even while in office. That is not the point that the caller made. He was just basically trying to palm it off and say, "Oh, man." That is similar to what it is also say. Don't study to vote for UNC, because PNM and UNC is the same. So you know what? Better to just continue voting for PNM because that we own. I'm not saying that's what the caller said. I'm saying that is basically what that is something that the PNM uses to encourage independent voters not to vote for UNC and but to vote for PNM, because at least with the PNM that we own. Right? And one more point quickly. That the caller who are custom calling makes a lot of good points usually. Going off on how we're supposed to rally and support the police service and the TTPS. The TTPS, as I just said, is PNM. That's the investigative body, that's the law enforcement body in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, let me finish up Nathaniel Lehman.
They are PNM, and besides being PNM, we are seeing more and more Trinidadians are waking up and realizing the TTPS is the mob boss of Trinidad and Tobago. They are the head of the criminal gangs. They extort from the criminal gangs, they control the criminal gangs, they protect the criminal gangs. It's when the gang members or gang leaders decide to go rogue and betray them. That is when they eliminate and they arrest and stuff like that. Or if there's evidence that has already been publicized and they have no choice, they will do it. And then you hear nothing about those cases again afterwards. TTPS is the biggest criminal gang in Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning. I'm going to send a video for you. I want you to listen to it, okay? And you have a blessed day.
Good morning, Ground Report. Andy, how much I will remember? Do you remember your young stepdaughter? Do you remember she was on some job-related charges? What has become of that case? Nada. So if you're expecting something to happen, or Rowley to fire Stuart Young or anything, no, that's not going to happen. I warned Lennox already. I told him some years ago, we are heading to a creeping dictatorship. He says, nah, that could never happen. But here we go again. Lennox, dictatorship is on your nose, on your face. Have a good one.
Oh, it's on Lennox's face. Well, all
morning, Gong Report. You know, what does get me upset on morning? When these people come out and say Kamala thief all the money, or they look at who's thieving all the money in front of all you, where PNM get money to build Balisea house 200 million. Well, where they get that? Raffle can't sell all of that. Look at that $3.4 billion unaccounted for. That in court. But all the court talking Kamala thief, come with all the evidence, go in front of the courthouse and come with all the evidence that Kamala thief the money. But it have proof that it's showing that the PNM in power and they thief the money. It unaccounted for. The budget, not every year budget, and there's extra money that they get in. Unaccounted for. So when all they say Kamala thief, the woman have a bachelor in business. Where Keith Rowley have? Tell me what Keith Rowley have. The man is a geologist and built us out to and it's still sinking and the house is cracking. So who's the fool in Parliament? Or tell me who's the fool in Parliament? Watch the woman law degree, she bachelors and everything, and see what the man is a volcanic geologist and he still can't tell when the soil is bad to build her HEC house. Oh God, man, always such fool. Listen when your leader talk of the opposition talk. She's talking compassion, caring. She loves the citizens. Now, when we're in the bully talk, demanding, right? He demanding all you have to pay that property taxes. They coming for all your houses. All the little piece of shack all you have. All that, they go take it just now. My piece of shack I have, they go want it too. But listen, the little woman coming to implement things. There's a lot of countries out there with a lot of inventions. for recycling and stuff. What brain this man have that he could put greenhouse effect in Trinidad? What brain? He travels so much all about, and still he bring no investment. Stuart Young talking so much. Your own stepdaughter, call for drug charges. Come on, man, all wake up and see now. Look at the crime. The crime is on a high rate. When UNC was in power, it was under control. All the people use all the brain and wake up. Don't compare Kamla to Rowley.
Wow.
Ground report, morning. Short and sweet. We all know the TTP is not known for accountability. And I take note of the initiative that Earl Christopher put into place about returning your tactical way. My question is, one, does the store have an account? For example, Tim, Harry, and Tim get 3, Harry get 2, John get 1. Is it when they ask them to return it, they have to return the 3 that Tim got, the 2 that Harry got, and the 1 that John got? The reason I'm asking this is people, the officer could just turn in any amount of uniforms. What's the accountability? What are you measuring it against? Do they have a record of all the police tactical gear that they issued? Or was it just a free for all? Because I know if you get 2 tactical for the year, and at the end of the day, if it's worn or torn, even with PPE, they just ask you to return it before they issue a new one. So they can only have accountability if there's a return and a record for how much was issued. But just to ask men to bring back the thing, men will just bring back tactical gear they have for years and years and years. I want to know if the accountability will be if you got 2 for this year and you bring back 1, you have to explain the one that's missing. Or if you have none, you have to explain why you have none. Then it will make sense. Anything else is just a farce, like everything else this government does do.
Wow. Have a lot more voice notes. Michael Kerr, Lennox Smith. Any engagement while we continue or
yes,
all on the voice note?
Very interesting.
All on the voice notes.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Lennox. All on the voice notes. Go
I
ahead,
know
Lennox.
that you have something to
Go ahead,
read.
Lennox.
I'm saying that very interesting. Of course, the constitution has reached a height that of course never anticipated. Espinet, of course, is the chairman that superintended, of course, the closure of the pet petition for this administration. So I just want to make that clear because the caller had a difficulty, and I think the last caller
a little bit, but
and the last one,
yes.
Espinet, yes. And the last one, I think
all right.
we should take note of. That is to say that yes, there must be a system to indicate.
While you fix.
Huh? Why what?
While you fix your mic, you're sticking. So while you fix,
sticking?
because we in here and you're good. Mikey, you want anything that you want to engage?
Yeah, let me just say, so while I'm not saying with more than 500 murders for the years so far, National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines has appealed to parents to make sacrifices for their children. According to Hines, statistics show that hundreds of children are registering low scores at the secondary entrance assessment examination. See, in a Facebook post, the minister emphasized the need for parents to make sacrifices to ensure that children discover their full potential. He said that, and he went to give all the scores and how the scores load. He continued, the lack of education and or some marketable skill could be prevented if we sort them out early. They have the potential and must not be encouraged to ignore the many opportunities available to them. Hines said some of the challenges society faced with crime began long before law breaking, making intervention by the police necessary. When we see signs of weakness, be it social, mental, physical, or psychological, it is necessary for us as parents family, community, or nation to intervene. And he went on to talk about his personal experience that when he first came home with one O-level pass at the end of the secondary school year, whatever. So,
All right. So
yeah,
Lennox.
sorry about that. I had to take a breather. Right. So that's what he said. So he gave an interview, and he spoke about. He said that citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, for the most part, who are conducting the violence upon each other, we are indeed a very violent society. So that there you have it.
Well, of course.
Oh boy, nice.
It is clear. It
Right.
depends on
Short and sweet. Let me making sure you cannot just.
Yeah. It appears that it depends on the audience, because he went to Bart Street claiming that under the authority of and the knowledge of the Commissioner of Police and his boss, the Prime Minister, just before he got the office of National Security Minister. That is, of course, after he failed in Ministry of Works and the Ministry of Public Utilities, and of course, pushing pen behind Al-Rari at the Attorney General's office. But he went to Bart Street and told them, listen, he got one CXC subject, and of course, in his days, just as me, there would have been no CXC. But of course, he's saying now O-level. I wonder if he got up from his slumber and realized that his O-level he had to have, and not, of course, a CXC. I thought I should introduce that. But the last caller that we had talked about that uniform thing. Yes, there is a memo that asks people to bring back all of their specific unit uniform. And he is right. There may be a need, of course, to drill into more specification as to how much. But I suppose the memo, if it said bring back all, or just bring back, one would assume that it's all, and that speaks for itself. But knowing Trinidadians as we do, there may be a fellow who believes there's only one or two, as the case may be. So there may be a need for specifying. That is just a direct to the commissioner, and maybe to
nice,
update
especially
memo.
what it is.
Yeah, maybe to update her memo and give it a little more meat rather than just bring back all of your uniforms.
In and out. Check internet. So Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the wider Caribbean, a pleasant good morning to you, the viewers on the Caribbean. Welcome to the Ground Report program. They say it's the most controversial, but it's the most honest, straightforward program in Trinidad and Tobago. It is what it is. Oh boy. The lines are open. So if you're calling from outside, don't forget to use 1868. Yes, use the country code 1868. And the numbers to call 225-6644. Right on the screen, man. 225-6644 or 239-5120. 239-5120. Or send us a WhatsApp voice note, which we will start back the voice notes in a little bit after the calls. Or we're taking turns. We're going to have a lot of voice notes. The number to call is 366-3053. 366-3053. So now we are welcoming calls, and you all have the line numbers. And for those of you who rather the voice notes, send the voice notes. We're going to play it after these calls. Oh boy.
We have one there?
Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Good morning, caller. Where you calling from? And welcome to the Gong Report. And what's your contribution to the #1 television program in Trinidad and Tobago at this point? And what's your contribution and where you calling from?
I want to mention earlier about the president is a PNM and she have the powers to pardon. But we have to also understand you do have the powers to pardon. Proven guilty. Yeah, what? You have committed a crime and you were guilty. So you probably have to be brought to the court for corruption or misbehavior in public office. And he knows that the president will have no reason to pardon him. But if he's guilty, then you'll have the reason to pardon him. And then There are consequences for misbehavior in public office. Although you're a partner, you're not in jail. Your assets and whatever they could find that you have gained by ill means. So, whoever, once you have evidence that you are guilty, then the president could say, okay, fine, we can pardon them. But there are also, so it just goes to show now that how the population would understand and realize that you was a criminal, you was a scam, and you did ill things while you was holding government office. So she can't just come and say, okay, person can't just come and pardon you if you're not guilty of nothing. And then you have no right to pardon somebody if you're not brought in front of the court and proven guilt. So that is just a point. Consider the thing with the uniform. Like something wrong with these people in this country and something wrong with the police service in the country, something wrong with Perla and something wrong with Fitzgerald. If 5 men dress up in Santa Claus outfit and come knocking at my door and say, police, police, police. And I look outside there and see 5 men with Santa Claus uniform saying it's police. But all of them pointing big guns at my head. You feel like to say now, hey, hear what? The uniform is not police uniform, it's fake uniform. So that means the guns that all you have is fake guns. I just show you how doted these people are. The uniform right now have no merit to what is taking place when crime is concerned. Police could wear what they want. They could go naked. They could wear pom-pom shorts. Me have no problem with that. Available to them than anybody else in the country. And that is the problem here. Where a man can run up at you any day, any time, any hour, and point out firearms, illegal firearms, and the fact of the matter is now the commissioner and the Ministry of National Security is the private law-abiding citizens, people and all, from acquiring legal firearms to protect themselves and their families. So it's a whole diversion again now of their failure to address the crime situation in the country by now talking about police uniform. The other day it was body camera, now it's police uniform, before it was vehicles. So the issue of trying to blame and
don't also forget tint too. Remember, tint was part of the crime and why we had to pay for tint now too. So go ahead.
You shift the blame of the competence of the police commissioner, the National Ministry of Security, the Minister of National Security, and the head of the Security Council of Trinidad and Tobago, which is Rowley. And I just always say, the problem is not Grand or Grand, the problem is Rowley. You can be the breadwinner of a family and the head of a family, and you're trying to behaving all out. And when you talk about it, you're blaming the neighbor, you're blaming and all this kind of thing. It's you is the problem, and this is why I always say over and over. Focus getting rid of them permanently. Again, no God like her. Have a good morning, gentlemen. Be out and enjoy the rest of the morning.
Thank you very much. Next caller, pleasant good morning to you. Where are you calling from? Oh boy. Nice. So make your calls before I go back to voice notes. I'm going to give you all the numbers again. 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120. Send a WhatsApp voice notes or make a WhatsApp call at 366-3053, 366-3053. And again, welcome.
Welcome. Yeah.
Have anything else, Mikey?
Well, why would Hines believe that parents are not making the sacrifice? I mean, what are the opportunities that exist? I mean, again, this government is so disconnected. So disconnected. This government emasculated so many men who can't even provide for their families. You know how that feels? So helpless. no sense of being, no sense of belonging, no sense of purpose. You think Hines and them really care? And after you realize that you're a complete failure, you want to turn around and blame the citizens of this country.
Yeah,
Yeah? You have a leader, a prime minister, who said the buck stops with him. We play that clip here. He says at the end of the day, they will do things, but I am the one that needs to be held accountable. That is Rowley words. That is not Lennox, Mikey, or Andy. That came from Rowley. At the end of the day, the buck stops with him.
Let them hear, but go ahead, Mikey.
The buck stops with him.
Let me take this call.
Go ahead.
Caller.
Go ahead.
Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, you are live. Yes, good morning to you, Mikey K. Lennox Smith are in studio.
Hey guys, yeah. I still on this concept with truth. I still on concept with the truth. So I know look on back, boy. So I just wanted to know if we had any confession or any whistleblower came forward from since last I called it.
If any
Well, I think we come to the consensus that we had to get them out and then we got to take them to jail. All right, we want to jump the gun. We had to get them out first, then take them to jail.
Yeah,
I think that's the consensus. Yeah, everybody on that page right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I own here, boy. I'm not hearing.
All right. Well, try back again now. Let me try next call by the time. Yeah. Morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Again, right? Into the police uniforms and police, prisons, fire, everybody uniform. It is uniform. Somebody who's to get about at least about 3 years. Who's to get one for every day. But it's so again, they cut the money for all this sort of thing, right? The uniform supposed to be returned. Whenever uniform is discolored or it not well, it has ripped, you return it to the station, the stores, and you return those uniform and get new uniform. You must return your old uniform. And the next thing too, when a ship going to start, they must have a parade. The parade now will show that who don't have on a uniform, they have to get a phone why you have a uniform, the reason for a uniform, you must give a phone for these things. So uniform is a serious thing in terms of being accounted for. Your whole kit supposed to be accounted for. But everything like a difficulty, nobody don't account for these things, nobody don't care for these things, because they come down with a jeans and a jersey, some sneakers, and they ain't telling them nothing. They ain't even asking them why. You understand? So this is the next thing. When you return in a uniform to get a new uniform, you must return your own uniform. If they cannot give back for the old uniform, they will back and have a start. But you see again, as I say, everything like that in this country, everything going through.
Wow. Oh boy, let's the lines are still open before we go back to those voice notes. Oh boy. Lennox Smith.
Yeah, well, I got the impression.
Anything?
Yeah, I got the impression that the caller is concerned about not just the accountability, but the fact that this may well be a knee-jerk response stroke public relations gimmick. Because from what he has said, and it sounds as though he's in the know, and I have no reason to doubt, it is not enforceable.
Yes,
in all practicality.
But go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Is that? Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is officer.
All right, good.
I was telling you, he is a
Yeah. So I'm saying that it's not practical. It's not practicable. So it's not enforceable. But of course, it's a good public relations stroke knee-jerk response to the disquiet out there in the population that persons purporting to be police officers by wearing uniforms of the police and committing, of course, these heinous and regular crimes, as we have seen, including, of course, kidnappings. And of course, in one case, actual police officers were in fact accused. The matter is sub judice. I'm not going to confirm that a person did a crime unless, of course, it is tried and tested in the courts. But certainly, two police officers were charged for the kidnapping of one victim, and of course, and his body was found, of course, in some part of the country, of course, totally, demised. So those are concerns, but it's public relations, and it cannot be practically implemented.
All right.
Good morning.
All right, caller, short and sweet. A pleasant good morning to you. What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Yeah, sorry for that. last caller said, whenever you are a service person and you have to return your gear, any gear, whether it's a boot, shirt, a pants, back in the day, they had strict record keeping. Nothing was handed out before something was given. And today, I don't know what is going on, but that caller was correct. Everything was accounted for back in the day.
Wow. Next caller, pleasant good morning to you. What's your contribution on the #1 program on Trinidad and Tobago, the Ground Report? Go ahead, caller.
Hi, good my teacher and the Grand Report family. Now I want to say to the government.
Don't forget our Gael family.
Morning.
Good morning. I want to say to the government this morning, right? I want to say that the police and them, the retirees of the police, they need their money. After they work so hard, diligently, they stand up to the test, right? They do what they have to do. Now they retire, right? They retire and they need their money. Compassion among them because I want to get them early and all your family happy. All you get all your money and all you do what all you want to. Remember the police for them. They have their family too. And they deserve better. But when you're working in a ministry or whatever, right, and you retire and you finish your job there, you go back to that ministry. They have you around. They do not, they don't know you. They don't know you what working there. They have your running set. They have your running every people and the money. That's the country. Everyone is paying. The money just needs money too. Not only the police and them. Everybody retire need their money. And I have them around, and I say that is tortishness and that government policy. They have to let the other government not come in, the opposition leader, let them come and run this country so people will be stressed out. If I want people stressed out, people working hard and they don't hard working and very going. These are set out with every less for them. The people what belongs to them.
Thank you very much, caller. Caller, pleasant good morning to you. Welcome to the Ground Report. Yes, you are.
Hey, Andy, yeah, well, I just want to find out, I know we talk about this concept with the truth and Mr. Bloina. So if we had anybody came forward with any confession, anything like that, no, if not, no, well, I just want to remind, so it only had one good pretty lady recently came forward and she told the country where all the US was going, that they can't get when they go in the bank when they're traveling. The US was going to somewhere in Florida to talk to dead people. So I just want to tell Mikey that is the importance of the whistleblowing thing now. And if you know how God is working, right? God, next thing God are Rowley right now when he dying bed, they trying to contact the Ground Report to make some kind of confession, but he's still calling, he's still calling his favorite radio station. And he know the Ground Report moved to Gael and YouTube and thing now. So I don't know if the man want to make a confession, or let the man come on the program now.
No, we are no problem with that. We welcome him. We welcome him. Welcome all of them. We have tried to bring Foster Cummins. They want to come. Sometimes some of them is even confirmed with the Observer. And when you're ready for the interview, boy, I say, this man tried to play that to Miss Scotland. I say, hey, Scotland, I don't know if people know you're coming on tonight. And everything was a rush. I've got to go to Tobago right now, Mikey. And tomorrow you're going to hear great news. Are we still waiting? That was about maybe a month and a half ago. So the Ground Report, Corridor Transformation, the Observer, we would be happy to have them on. We would love to have conversation with these individuals. I am certain that to the benefit of the listening public and the viewers as well, they would love to see that, but they keep running and running and running.
Well,
I don't know why.
Mikey, that
But Lennox
reminds me.
Smith believes that the runs from interviews from the ground report. Lennox Smith, why do you believe, short and sweet, the running from interviews when it comes to corridor transformation or the observers or the ground report, they're just running from the trio? Why do you believe so?
Well, I was going to give two practical examples where the current Minister of Tourism, when we said we had some information about him, he sent a pre-action protocol letter to us without having the opportunity to air and to find out what we had to say. Usually a pre-action protocol letter does come after the so-called infringement or the offense that the person believe who is issuing the pre-action protocol letter. And then of course we had another real practical one as well. After we aired the situation with our investigation with Delcy Rodriguez, of course, claiming that both Rowley and Stuart Young could be considered to be supporters of narcotics elements, having regard to the fact that Delcy Rodriguez was clandestinely brought into the country. Stuart Young sent us a pre-action protocol letter. Of course, we responded with a 50 pages. That would have been about 6 or 7 years ago when I realized that he didn't go further because, of course, inside of our response to his pre-action protocol letter, we outlined 10 areas where he lied to the population. And therefore, I think that stunted him in his growth towards, of course, the High Court to take the ground report. In other words, it's because we are too truthful and because, of course, we extract from them and insisted that we want the truth. And they are prepared, of course, to give us shenanigans, lies, deceptions, and, of course, believing that we will pursue their propaganda. And there's a distinction, just in case, between propaganda and advertising. Right? So they will come for the advertising to look good.
Nice.
No, we are about truth. We are about truth. Advertising will give you some element of truth, and propaganda is total lies. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Very right. The belief of why it is none of the PNM people or anybody that are close to the PNM, my belief why they would not want to have an interview with us is because of their Prime Minister itself when it coming to we on the ground report. This is my view here.
The truth.
I was going to the Oval one evening and I stopped as it was drizzling and a radio station was on. And on that radio station, which wasn't my favorite station, but it was on in the vehicle housing, a most vulgar and outrageous radio program was on the airwaves called The Ground Report. You all remember that? In that report, it was the nasty, filthy program was on our airwaves. And I was asking myself, how could this be permitted on the airwaves of Trinidad and Tobago, election or no election? And it was all about me and my father and my mother and this, and I had raped this, and I had done that, and the ground report. They want to know what the plan is. The plan is to put an end to this.
Nice. Let's go to the lines, man. Let's go to the lines.
Try
Wow.
Try as he may.
So let me take about 2 more calls and then run some voice notes. Huh? So when them hearing the leader, the Prime Minister, remember he's the head, talking like that, you really expect them to take an interview with Mike observers or Lennox Smith, corridor transformation, or here on the
Right, report. Yeah, but Andy, after 10 years, you telling me you still have a problem talking to us? After 10 years, you don't have a successful track record of it. Who said that the conversation has to be about them? Come and tell us about the success stories. Come and tell us what you met in the treasury. Come and tell us what you have done to better the lives of the citizens. That is all. We ain't concerned about you. At the end of the day, you come and tell us. You sell to us why it is that anybody should even vote for you. You come and sell to us. Come into the belly of the beast. People like to weigh in on American politics. And Harris went to Fox News. She went to Fox News. And she's now going in. Well, at least perhaps she could wait. I don't know. Let's wait and see. But you've been there for almost 10 years. 10 years and you're still scared to talk? One of them who real scared is Awari. Awari don't want nothing. He will send message. Oh, all right. Please send your questions. And brother man, is your ministry. You don't have an idea. You have to be what? You have to be up front. You have to know initially what you're going to. Listen, this is not about politics. We just want to know, after 10 years, you come and sell us, mano, one-on-one, and tell us why you are deserving to stay there after 2025 or before or even now. Tell us why. Why you should be in office up to this day. Tell us.
Morning, caller. What's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
People who can't tell the truth. Good morning.
You're calling from? Totola. Okay. Go ahead, Totola.
Yeah, man, I was listening to Said yesterday afternoon. I think Said mentioned something there. Everybody should partner with Said for his contribution. He's saying when he make a statement that we need to do a cooperative calls, like group calls, do group calls to help combat the crime. That is something very great. Can we do that up here all the time?
In Totola, British Virgin Islands, BVI?
Yes, British, BVI.
Yeah, because I know there's some flights, the airline Cal now flies there directly. Well, how are you getting us? Are you getting us on the stream or on Gael TV?
I think stream.
Okay.
Oh, on the stream?
On the stream.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So I think everybody should try and get that system going. Group chat. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks a lot, British Virgin Islands. Thanks so much. Next caller, morning caller, where you calling from? Oh boy, this call lost. All right. Have any other calls? Have none. Let me play some voice notes. Morning caller.
And I said the things out here. Yesterday we were watching an evening program, and the senior citizen husband and wife is born in church, saying that her son beats her day and night. So I just hope the authorities will look into that and help this senior citizen. They need help.
Thank you so much, Miss La Roqueta. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Voice notes.
We know the PNM is the problem, right? We know that. All of we know that. Not that we say anything about UNC, but we know the problem is the PNM. But we want to know what solutions the UNC has for all the wickedness that the PNM has done to the people of this country. I hear all you're saying, silver bracelet and blue light. Silver bracelet, we already have any talk with the leader of the UNC to be making them kind of statement? Or you're talking on another own? Always the mouthpiece for UNC? But look, there's something wrong with all this, but you have a talk with the leader, a talk with you, and then you can make them kind of statement. The UNC leader not saying anything, but all you're up front. Boy, as somebody said, nobody will get locked up. Talk done.
Yeah, let me tell you this now. Tell me when are the people in authority going to stand up and do what is right? They are not showing any example to the young people or anybody in this country. They know, all of them know all who are the corrupt police officers, they know them. Tell me when somebody going to stand up and say, you're going to call these people to account. You're telling them bring back uniform. You're supposed to fire all of them because all you know who it is. You understand? Stop playing cat and mouse games with this country. Stop playing cat and mouse with the national security. You understand? Tell me who is going to stand up there and say, you know something? Let us call these people out. They know them. They know each and every one of them. When there are going to be consequences. You understand? The people on the top are the ones who are destroying this country day by day. Because some people, they can do what they want, when they want, how they want, and they are untouchable. You understand? It's the ones on the top that causing all the problems in the country. But let me tell you now, the longest rope has an end. You understand? And the end definitely would come. You hear God in charge, and he ain't sleeping. As they say, you can do as much as you want, but not for as long as you want. The day come in. People who know better, or they stand up, push back, and fight. And we're going to talk, and let these people know. We know who they are, where they are, and somehow they're going to have to pay. Payday is coming.
The IMF never come here. That was the parent propaganda that the thief for the money, and everybody went with that. You understand? Look at that, brother. The country never fall down. All right? So all that thief point, that parent propaganda. All of that standard.
Thank you very much, oh boy. Time check. It's 2 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. And as we say, we take notes, same time.
One time, yeah, because what happened is the little delay, we'll be able to shut off at 10 o'clock or exact. So you're correct about that, Andy. Don't forget, well, Lennox is all prepared for this evening. He is also going to give you a fashion show / dance marathon. Lennox, you're up your game. I like GQ, boy. Look out, Paris. Here comes the man. I want to start dressing like this, Andy, is because they're preparing for the screening committee. Yeah? So keep an eye on him.
Jersey button unbutton and thing look move just like he looking for a woman on the chest show. So now the Pastor Lennox Smith. What's up, Tim? Pastor Lennox Smith.
I don't know. He's smiling like he has some money to get from the P. Diddy lawsuit. I don't know. But anyhow, folks, don't forget to check him out later on. It's all about fashion show and dance marathon. Lennox Smith right there on George Street. Hey, folks, it's been a pleasure. What a week. Monday, right back at it. Of course, over the weekend, please try to stay alive. Good folks, CARICOM family, everyone, do have a good weekend. And again, try to stay alive.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith. The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.
Lennox Smith, Corridor Transformation, TCT, September 23rd, 2024. The tale of two diametrically opposite leaders. CAMLA is about people-centered, advancement and development of TT. Raleigh is about self-serving nepotism, socioeconomic degradation, and the destruction of the gains made by the people of TT under the guise that this is the best TT can do. Clearly, that is the normative standard of the PNM and Raleigh. Certainly all of TT disagrees. The cold fact will unveiled in the next general elections. PNM under Raleigh has mutated into a well-defined criminal enterprise, Kamla and the UNC must step in the gap to save TT.
I have a political cemetery. It's not for people like you and me. It is for all them politicians.
Yes, people, of course, we have come to the end of today's program of the Ground Report. See you tomorrow night. Yes, not tonight, tomorrow night on the corridor transformation. Tomorrow night, not tonight. Yes, I am off, of course, to my favorite water hole. Let's see you then. Have a wonderful rest of the day. God bless. Bye-bye.
Numbers in my island. I have a political cemetery. It's not for people like you and me. It is for all them politicians. And I dig in their grave, no fuck with me hand. I find some of them, they living too long. And every 5 years is the same old song. Some of them dead, just shame to lie down. So I prepare for them a burial ground. Rowley, my first grave for he. With joy in my heart, put him down with glee. All of them useless politicians, only making up numbers in my island. I don't care all who go vex with me, but Kamla I not ready to bury. She is a strong, determined woman like me, and deserve a chance to run this country. When she in power, I don't go hungry. And Calypsonian does get big money. She don't deserve no spot in my cemetery. I putting she in the center of the city. I have a political cemetery. It's not for people like you and me. It is for all them politicians. And I dig in their grave, no fuck with me hand. I find some of them, they living too long. And every 5 years is the same old song. Some of them dead, just shame to lie down. So I prepare for them a burial ground. Rowley, my first grave for he. With joy in my heart, put him down with glee. All of them useless politicians, only making up numbers in my island.
Forget all your worries, whatever happened before, yeah. Whatever stress or problems you have, leave it by the door. Leave it by the door and come inside. Let me bet, let me just bet. We betting with no worries, just jump up on somebody, yeah. Let me just bet. We betting till morning come, tipsy when we drink, we rum, yeah. You see when I come out to play, I belt in ways, throwing the stress away, cause I don't want no headache now. This is a special line with a bunch of happy people, so I'm marking time, because I'm ready to get some trouble, yeah. Hold on somebody, and just give them the best walk, wine of your life. Cause tonight, let me just bet. We betting with no worries, just jump up on somebody, yeah. Let me just bet. We betting till morning come, tipsy when we drink, we rum, yeah. I say this is carnival, and I'm ready for bacchanal. People call me a feta, cause I love to jump to my soca. Forget all your problems. You see when I come out to fade, oh gosh, it's not me to blame. The music does make me sweat, walking up and have no shame now. People could say what they say, right now it don't really matter. When the bacchanal come out of me, it's because I'm ready to get some trouble, yeah. Hold on somebody, and just give them the best walk, wine of your life. Cause tonight, let me just bet.
This is Juve Morning in St. James in Trinidad Carnival 2024.
Forget all your worries, whatever happened before, yeah. Whatever stress or problems you have, leave it by the door. Leave it by the door and come inside. Let me just bet. We betting with no worries, just jump up on somebody, yeah. Let me shame now. People could say what they say. Right now it don't really matter when the bacchanal come out of me. It's because I'm ready to get some trouble. Yeah, hold on somebody, and just give them the best walk wine of your life. 'Cause tonight, let me bet, let me just bet. We betting with no worries, just jump up on somebody, yeah. Let me bet, let me just bet. We betting till morning come, tipsy when we drink we rum, yeah. I say this is carnival and I'm ready for bacchanal. People call me a feta 'cause I love to jump to my soca. Forget all your worries, whatever happened before, yeah. Whatever stress or problems you have, leave it by the door. And come inside, come inside, come inside. Let me bet, let me just bet. We betting with no.
I was a fool for you.
certainty of growing old, that right is right and left is wrong, that north and south can get along, that east is east and west is west, and being first is always best. But I believe in love.
Looking at yourself, mankind, Bible are fulfilled. Unnecessary wonders.
Mr. DJ Dalvin, do it, you know.
It's a little story about life. Everybody that live will surely die. A lot of people ask the questions why? Some people wanna go for so much more before they really learn about life's score. The subject is not to be ignored.
Could I never pass?
Yes,